What's happening, everybody? Welcome on back to yet another wonderful episode of Movie Buffed. I'm Dakota. That handsome voice right there is Slime, and we also have the beautiful Dan Nigerian in the house here.
Hi, y'all. What's up?
So we got three of us here.
He is beautiful. He's shampooed right now.
I took a shower when I came in the office this morning.
Shower at the
You showered
office.
here?
I showered at the office.
In the trap?
Yeah, because,
Oh
I
my
texted
God.
Dakota this morning at 8 o'clock, and I was like, yo, I'm ready. But I really wasn't. I was still in bed, you know? And then he didn't respond right away, so I fell back asleep. And then he messaged me, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and I was still in bed. So I was like, okay, I have to put clothes on. So I put clothes on, came over here, and then I was like, I could shower, I could not, but I was so gross, so I just showered.
Isn't it like a problem for lads with such long hair? Like you gotta...
Yeah, it's a fucking process. That was the thing. That's really why I did it, is because my hair was like fucked up, and so I had to like shower and comb it. Because it's a process.
You gotta
Caught some
maintain.
special, I can't remember what it was from, but I was watching a clip, and there was a part from Summit 2. And I saw you in it.
Yeah.
With short hair.
Short hair then.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like, it was
Rare.
Yeah, at first we mistook him for Brian.
Yeah.
He looked very he looked
Chubby white guy with a beard.
kind of looked Brian-ish in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could still pull off the. Would you ever cut your hair again? Are you
I don't
gonna
know.
do it?
I'm supposed to get a haircut this week. So
Cursed.
I've heard you say that
Yeah.
for like a month now.
I know.
Though. Like 2
Well-
months for sure.
Well, my girl, so Kelly told me that I'm going home to Chicago this weekend. She told me that if I didn't have my hair cut, that she's bringing scissors to pick me up at the airport, and she was gonna put my hair in a ponytail and cut it all off.
Didn't your dad also say like cut your hair and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
well,
Yeah.
my dad is like really about it too. So
You're getting outnumbered right now. For
yeah,
Sure.
I'm gonna probably cut off a good amount.
It
but-
sucks
shame.
to get still bullied by your dad for having long
My
hair.
dad would beat the fuck out of me if he got the chance. My mom wasn't looking. He'd be like,
Really?
He's pulling you up
Just
by the hair first.
After all these years, like, oh, I've been wanting to do this, you little fucker. I swear to God.
Actually, my mom could probably beat me up faster than my dad could. My mom's got that like Irish woman strength where like
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That family strength.
yeah, like she could carry 8 children at once and still like beat somebody up with her feet.
Also hurl one over like a castle wall if she needed to.
Catch the baby.
covered in oil.
And they definitely dropped you a couple times.
Oh, I mean they didn't drop me; they threw me, but it's the same thing.
So this weekend was a fun little weekend here. Start with that guy over there, Dan, right?
Dane with an E.
You went to Mammoth,
I went to
which is, I mean, if you told me I went to Mammoth, I would know
Yeah.
right away you went to some sort of
Yeah.
winter place or snowland or something. So you're a winter sporter,
Go to Mammoth,
Dan?
bro.
Yeah, what's
You're a
up,
winter
dude?
sporter? You're a snowboarder, bro?
Yo, first off, heavily inspired by Chloe Kim to go outside and go snowboard, but
You weren't inspired by Johnny Tsunami?
no, fuck that show, dude.
It's a movie, for one.
Whatever it is, that's a bad character. You probably like that. You probably like Fairly Odd Parents. Now I
Johnny
actually understand
Tsunami
you
is a
little bit
Disney
more.
Channel original
SpongeBob
movie
lover.
from like 2001.
I didn't have cable, dude.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
couldn't
know any of
afford
that
Disney
stuff.
Channel here.
I would watch the rollerblading
I'm so
movie.
upset.
Bring, and then the cross-dressing motocross movie.
Motocrossed.
That was. Okay.
What are these?
Calm
what
down,
are these things?
dork. Okay, motocross is about a hot girl who wants to ride in motocross, but they don't take her seriously, so she pretends to be a boy.
So it's like Ladybugs, but backwards and not soccer, motocross.
yeah, exactly.
Exact,
Okay.
100%.
Literally-
That's
literally
actually what
that's
it
it.
says
All right,
on
that
the
story's
DVD
been
box.
Just like Ladybug.
Ronnie,
except backwards,
unfortunately, was not
soccer.
around for this one, but we'll go with something else.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You went to
I
Mammoth, bro.
I went to Mammoth. I went to Mammoth. It was a big esports get together. There was some cool guys. Probably some people know. It was Mr. Ben Wu. He's spending his retirement on the mountain, learning how to snowboard. As
Yeah,
well as,
this was just after our little send-off.
A
Yeah,
seance.
we literally went from that podcast or show. Really, from that show, we jumped in the car, drove 5 hours. Me, Charlie, and Ben, and Kevin as well. Young, handsome Kevin, producer. So
Shouts to Kevin,
The
always being
invisible,
here on
handsome,
time, prepped
handsome
and ready to go. And
Lord
handsome.
of course
the
he is.
board.
And we met with Purge, and
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, he came too. And it was really funny because they had all been so excited about this trip, and I assumed everybody knew how to ski or snowboard or whatever. I've been snowboarding since I was like 10, so I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
look
like
like you
great,
belong in the snow.
but like,
Mhm.
what's up, bro? You want to shred? You want to get ripped? I'll rip down the mountain.
You want to
like
hit the
did.
pow? Dude, fresh pow down there, dude.
Pow pow's
We'll
looking
hit it
dope,
real
dude.
fast,
Pow
dude.
pow's
Hit
looking
the
dope.
powder. Go on.
So we get there, and then I realize not only nobody knows how to ski or snowboard. Literally nobody there, except for me and Kevin. Me and Kevin only.
What?
And they all had to rent like their like snowboard pants or like ski pants and jackets. Like they didn't have anything. And so we got in the mountain, and the first ride we were like all riding together, and it was just like, I mean, they'd never touched snow
They
before.
didn't know how to pizza nor French fry.
No pizza, no French fry, zero, literally.
Are those snowboarding terms? For
no,
real?
those are skiing
They're
terms.
skiing terms.
But they also didn't know how
skiing.
to.
In snowboarding, you just hot dog.
Is skiing like higher class than
dog.
snowboarding? Is that still a thing? Like,
Well,
skiers
if you
look
would
down
watch
like
Johnny Tsunami, they break down this whole socioeconomic difference.
What is it?
primitive
Break
snowboarders
it
and
down,
their
dude. I still think that
bold-
people look at snowboarders as like little mountain rats. You know, like they're just like little.
Is it like roller skaters to rollerbladers?
No.
I don't know that social
No.
dynamic.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that's the
Wait,
right
who
way.
spits on who?
I would say roller skaters spit on bladers because they're
Okay.
like, we were here first, and you tried to reinvent the wheel, just like skiers.
Wait,
are
what's
like,
what's the
we were on
difference?
mountain.
Yeah, wait. What's the difference between a roller skater and a rollerblader?
The wheels go in a singular line, and their life is linear, whereas roller skaters live their life more of a widespread wingspan.
So from an outsider, it's like, oh yeah, Melee and Smash 4 are the same thing. Because
that's
right
not-
now I'm like, it's the same thing.
the same
yeah, but
thing.
if I said Melee and Smash 4 are the same thing, you'd probably
Yeah,
kill me.
it's FOS outside right now.
Yeah, yeah. You just gotta live in that world.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
But for skiing and snowboarding, it's not.
I think there's a
Skiers are
little
up
bit.
here, snowboarders on the bottom, please.
I think it's a little bit. And there's still mountains that don't allow snowboarders.
Really? Why? Does it like damage the
What is
mountain?
it? Deer Valley? Deer Valley and
It's too edgy. They listen to Korn and just go straight down the mountain, bro.
yeah, like when I first started snowboarding, it was like only a couple mountains allowed snowboarders.
I don't get it though. Like they're using the same mountain.
They
Is it
would-
more damaging? Are they reckless?
Yeah, no, they would say that what they would say in the beginning was that number one, snowboarders were like punks and like just like trash, yeah, but also that they would fuck up the mountain because of how you naturally carve, right? You tend to rip up more snow, and if you're bad, you can like destroy moguls and you can like destroy features that skiers would really like.
Oh,
But
that's fair.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with
fair,
it.
but it's like a white
Ban
guy's
snowboarders.
excuse for
That's
like
weird.
why they won't let somebody into their school, you know?
So do mountains normally have like hybrid paths, or what they say? Nope, snowboarder side, skier side, kind of thing.
No, everybody goes everywhere now.
Okay.
And to finally put a cherry on it, in Johnny Tsunami, they split the mountain down the middle. Snowboarders were on one side.
So they
skiers
segregate
on
'em.
skiers.
Wait, they do? They segregate in that movie?
Yeah, but at the end, he unites the mountain.
Oh, that's the whole point.
Through the
Okay, so
power-
it is segregation.
Yeah.
So it's like a Black History Month movie.
In a way, yes.
Mm.
100% absolutely yes. Except it's like Pacific Islander month movie.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, you
Did
want
you fall? Hurt
You're on
yourself
board.
at all? Did anyone hurt themselves at all?
Yeah, actually,
Oh.
Purge fucked up his wrist.
That's the Dodo wrist.
Yeah, dude, everyone was really scared when he came and he was like, "Let's bring my wrist." And it was like, you know, it was like, "Oh shit!"
It's like deadpan. Like, I don't
Um,
know what I'm gonna do.
you know, Grace got pretty bruised up. Ben got his ass smashed pretty hard.
Whoa.
I flew once
goes-
pretty hard. I was so tired by the end. I'm so out of shape, dude. I would get on the mountain and it was like literally the hardest part was getting over my fat belly to put my bindings in. I would
You're
be
like,
out of breath. Yeah, it was literally like, and I would be like, I would get strapped in and I would need like 5 minutes. I'd be like, Kevin, you can go. Because me and Kevin were the only ones who would snowboard together. Like, so we could actually go and explore the mountain together. But he went out like in the morning because Kevin's a psychopath and like
Yeah,
went
it's
by
not chill.
himself.
It's
At
not
the end of the
chill.
day, my legs were so jelly. I was just like barely getting down the mountain.
Wow.
And my one big fall was like, I was like stopping and the whole mountain was iced. The conditions were terrible. It was like nice and sunny, but it was like super icy or super slushy pretty much the entire second day. And I went and stopped and I was going really too fast for what I was doing with that much ice. And I just went, "Foop," and it just like, I was like, you know, like flying in the air with my feet out for me. My ass just like,
God. Yeah, that's a
And you just, like,
tailbone if
slide.
you're not
Yeah.
if you're not careful.
I know
You
how to
shatter
fall
that
now.
shit.
I know how to fall. I spent a long time, but it was fun. It was a great weekend, really chill. Had some great dinners as well. We ate a bowl of ice cream that was 13 scoops of ice cream.
That's too much.
Yeah,
Oh,
It-
between all of you?
Too many.
Wow.
yeah, it was huge. It was like this fucking big. We got our picture on the wall and shit. It was at the Mammoth Funhouse. If you're there, check it out.
How
Really-
much was that?
I did not
Uh-huh.
pay for it.
That's
$25?
it?
That's it?
$25 for how many scoops of ice cream?
13.
Oh.
It was really good.
It's too much.
Did you have to pick every flavor?
Yeah, that was. You imagine there's
That's
7
what
people like yelling
and
at
you
each other
can't
about
decide
what
whether
flavors.
shit
Yeah, I just walked away.
anything.
I just said I don't want like one of the flavors. I can't.
Yeah, you
remember
name
what.
what you don't want,
Yeah.
and then you go and wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then I just waited for
Keep it on that side of the dish,
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think the grossest flavor was the one that Kevin and the 2 Kevins wanted. What was it called? It was the Fruity
Fruity
Pop,
Pop.
which was basically Fruity Pebbles like the dust of Fruity Pebbles combined with ice cream.
Oh, run it.
Yeah. No, it was bright blue. You probably would like that shit.
It sounds sick.
It was really awful. No, I didn't like that part of it.
Celery ice cream.
Any sort of like pulverized Fruit Loop like meal, I'll take.
Ugh, it's not a meal. It was like the bag was empty. There was dust left, and like your brother poured it on your head because he thought it was funny, and then that's what you're
colorful
taking.
dandruff.
That's why he didn't like it.
Went out to some nice dinners. We played Seven Wonders and Caverna, the board games. Have you ever played either of those?
Those sound like the nerdiest board games.
They're pretty nerdy.
Nerd games.
I don't know. Seven Wonders is pretty casual.
I'm sure they're hype.
Caverna's pretty nerdy. I don't know.
All right,
got drunk, watched some Olympics. There you go. Yeah, that's my weekend. I don't know. What do, you loser?
Don't talk to me. Slime, how was your weekend?
What did I do? I grinded Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, you're still on that tip.
I'm still on that tip on the on Steam, and because I never played it when it came out because I was like, this is too much lore. But now I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this. It's a pretty good game, I guess.
Have you ever beaten it before?
No.
You recommend?
I'm a pretty big like Final Fantasy stan as well, so I'm like, I don't know if I recommend it or not.
Really?
I'm not through it yet. When I finish it, I'll be like, I'll give the Julius Caesar, you know.
Do you think you can? So you are gonna finish it?
Yeah, probably.
Are you like a have to finish games kind of guy?
No, actually, I have this weird habit where I get to the end of a game, like the final boss, and just quit.
Yeah, I've done that in several games.
The journey is over now.
It's like a book that you're reading, and then it's gonna end, right? And then you're feeling sad because like that whole thing was really enjoyable, and you like that experience. And when it goes away, it's gone forever.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it comes down to like if the gameplay is actually task like challenging. Like RPGs, it's like you really just got to find out this one last fight. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's gonna test your reflexes to the ultimate like max, like maybe like Dark Souls or something. So I'm like, I don't care. You know, I'll assume that it's all chill.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I'll assume that the ending
fine.
is pretty. You know, everyone lives.
I might have to go back and kill a couple more neutral things a bit. Make sure my numbers are right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't played 12, so I don't know how much is like, is my team composition going to be appropriate for this fight or
all
not?
Those games are like, they're not hard to beat. So it's like, you know, you just have fun with it. You like to have fun around the office, like to joke around a little bit.
Heavy interactive visual novel kind of a thing.
A lot of goofs.
It's not that babby.
Yeah, how thick are the cutscenes, dude?
They're not that thick.
Oh, half girth? Okay.
But actually, the beginning of it, it's like that's a thick one.
How many?
Lordy,
this is the
boy.
The problem with Final Fantasy is that it takes 3 hours usually to get into the game. Like because they set so much up.
Yes.
Like 9, it was literally I didn't want to play it anymore after the first 3 hours, and then suddenly it was like, oh, the game's starting. Oh, I'm playing now.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's a problem, and I don't like that. I think that's dumb.
12 is the same way?
Yes, and to a fault, in fact. You got to sort of, like, muscle through it, you know?
It really is. It's like you have to...
In the Snapchat generation, no game should take that long to get rolling, and I believe that shit.
When did 12 come out originally?
2006, I think.
Yeah, so that's a little pre-Snapchat.
Okay. I mean, back then it was acceptable. But even back then, that's why I didn't play it. I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I got stuff to do.
I remember it came out, and I just wasn't going to do it. I just wasn't going to play it. I had been I loved 10 so much, and I don't know. I never got around to playing it anymore. I just didn't want to invest that much in a game at that point. I was like, Halo 3.
Yeah, you get 2 guns.
Yeah.
In Halo 2, you get 2 guns now.
Dude. I was like, I got a super
hand.
jump. I have to learn all the super jump spots. Watch me work my gun and jump over
Look
here.
at my battle rifle 1 taps.
Yeah, let me throw my sniper across the screen.
I did consoles like right at that time, I think. Yeah, I was done at that point.
Fucking PC Master Race dorkhead.
Yeah.
When was the first time you got a PC?
He's talking to you.
Yeah. This guy's always had PCs.
In 2006, in 2005, I grinded at a job. I didn't get paid for a long time. I washed dishes at a deli, and I saved up for a Socket A processor, Asus N78XX motherboard.
Fucking man, dude.
I grinded for that thing because I really just wanted to play World of Warcraft. Ended up not getting the game, and
isn't that the way?
But yeah, I had a rig, a 2005 rig, and I had like a GeForce 6600 GT, and that shit ran Warcraft 3, my friend, like a dream.
The greatest game.
Like a dream, and that's when my Dota career started, actually.
Right then, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What What a G, dude. I love hearing people's stories of how they first got their PCs. It's
I
because most
grinded,
people had
man.
to fucking figure
He
out a way.
didn't pay me, dude. He didn't pay me.
Yeah, I don't get that. Wait, you working at a deli and he just didn't pay
Yeah,
you?
like he just didn't pay
Was
me
he like
for
your
like 2
uncle?
months.
And he's
No,
like,
no, he was it's actually embarrassing. My mom ended up calling him and being like, "Why aren't you paying my son? This is like America."
Mama Bear.
Yeah,
Damn.
and so he just paid me like this giant lump sum of 2 months worth of wages. I made like $7 an hour. It was rough.
Dude, that's a G thing.
Taking
though.
advantage of child
Yeah,
labor.
G thing. Having your mother call the man and making him enable the payroll account. Yeah.
Gotta
That
get
works,
that
dude.
paper,
But
boo-boo.
yeah,
All right.
no, you get it any way you can, really.
How did you get your first PC, nerd?
Oh, man.
I shouldn't shoot
My house had an Apple first.
Disgusting.
My dad got like an old-ass Apple computer that could barely play anything. Like Heroes of Might and Magic 2 barely ran.
You have as many as you want.
And yeah, no real Doom or anything like that. But eventually I just wanted to get one for myself, and I saved up and got a Walmart E-machine.
My man.
Oh.
Hot.
Thing was hot. I eventually changed out that graphics card. I got a Voodoo 3D,
Oh!
and that allowed me to play some serious Diablo 2. I was going in on the Diablo 2. You wouldn't even know. When I got the graphics card, I could bump that shit up to 800 by 600, and it was on. It was on. That was the best shit ever.
Easy, bro. Easy. This is the.
I was bringing in the Stone of Jordans. I could have bought women. It was great. It was amazing.
What did you do this weekend?
I caught. I hung out a lot, chilled.
Wow.
Announced I was having a baby.
Oh, you're having a baby!
So yeah, that was a big deal.
Coddle dad.
I was actually extremely anxious and nervous about that announcement. I had known since December Dota Summit. I actually found out middle of Dota Summit, and then just kept going through the rest of the event. And
yeah, I love how you kept that from everybody during that.
I mean, you
sounds
have to. I mean, you
painful.
wait to a certain point to make sure everything's going good, of course, and everything is going great.
Yeah, you don't tell people you got the interview. You tell them once you got the job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until we
Wise.
wanted to hear a
Sage
heartbeat, obviously, and make sure everything's good, which we did. Everything's great. Everything's going well.
It's pumping
good.
blood, bro.
Something's living in there. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Don't know yet what it's going to be, but we'll find out eventually. And
That's crazy.
yeah, it's wild.
But you will name it after me, correct? Guy or girl?
Absolutely.
It doesn't
Daniel
matter.
Coddle guy.
Yeah, Daniel Coddle
Kyle guy was
Cox.
definitely in there. God damn it.
That's in the running.
But no, it's a special time. Good stuff. And an exciting new adventure.
Yeah.
Also happened to watch The Red Pill. I watched it right before I went to see Black Panther. I don't know why I decided to treat myself to two different viewing experiences.
Yeah, you look
but
pooped when you went and picked me up.
but
You
it
were
was-
like
it was
tired.
great.
Is what's the red pill about? Is it what I think it's about?
It is.
It's
Fuck.
documentary. It's named The Red Pill after The Matrix. It's not like a documentary about The Matrix.
Of
or
course,
anything
it's
like that.
about like the.
It's about the men's rights movement or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this a whole lot. I thought it was actually a very interesting documentary because when you think about it, everyone knows the women's rights movements, feminists, and people who very strong about the women's rights and everything. But whenever you would hear something about men's rights, you'd probably be like, "This is a joke, right?"
Yeah.
Men's rights movements. But then when you actually get to hear them, it's kind of you're like, "Oh shit," Life also ain't easy for men, and obviously when you hear something like that, everyone naturally wants to just jump up and defend what they've had to go through, what they're going through, of course. But it's just kind of an opportunity to see that things aren't always greener on the other side when you consider the fact that, men die earlier, women tend to live longer. Men are working pretty much all of those hard-ass jobs, and they are 98% of the time it's men who die on the job. More likely men commit suicide, a bunch of crazy dark shit, of course.
So the movie did a good job of articulating a certain viewpoint.
Exactly.
That
And-
I would have been like,
Exactly.
Okay.
And even feminists, you see in the movie themselves, feminists are men's rights movements, why they don't even bother. And they will shut them down at rallies. And it's you are doing exactly what you are trying to stop. And it's
Yeah,
I
that's
get
fair.
it, men's rights movements, and it feels very they came out of the woodwork because suddenly all the attention's on women, but it's quite not like that. It's an interesting experience to go and learn a different viewpoint. Enough so that the filmmaker Cassie J, I had to look up her name, starts this experience as a feminist and shows all these great credits and works and write-ups that she had done as a feminist, goes on this filmmaking experience, sits down, talks with all of the MRE and the males' rights movement, and at the end of it is no longer a feminist.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
That's how powerful I guess
crazy.
the movie can be. So I do recommend you check it out to be able to have like a full understanding. You get to see
Yeah.
all sides and know that it's not about men versus women, but it's more about what is the future of gender equality. Where's that going? That's all.
That's big shit.
So it's pretty deep shit. I recommend it. It was like on top of like our documentaries for a while I'd seen, so I was like, I'll check it out eventually.
Our
I did.
documentary is good.
Yeah, it's good if you just need something to. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to learn.
I do
shit,
feel
you know?
like though that the idea of the men's right movement and the red pill in general, because it's so associated with, speaking of Reddit, are the red pill.
Yeah.
Which is also the environment that the subreddit, the red pill, and what they're about is pretty different than what the actual men's right movement is. I think
They're
I've heard-
extremists.
They're
Yeah.
extremists.
That's what I
There's
think.
this weird Venn diagram where it's like, oh, we can't have sex with women because we're bad with women, and then it's like, oh, like actual men's rights, activism, which may be valid, I hear, and then it's like Reddit, and then it's part of the Venn diagram. It's this disgusting like toad.
Yeah, it is a toad
Like
of
thing.
shitlords.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
really
Wait, what
crazy.
is the other one? There's a really bad one that is like all about hating, not just like men's right, but hating women basically.
Well, there
It's
was
like,
incels, and
Incels,
that got
incels.
actually taken down. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was like super. Spooky.
they were hyper extreme about like
Yeah.
just disgusting people.
Which is
Neckbeard
wrong. Like, yeah.
And
fuckheads.
the Santa Barbara shooter, that's what he was like about. It was like,
Really?
yeah, he was like he went shooting women because he was frustrated that he couldn't, get a girlfriend or whatever.
Oh wait, he was that guy who was like the rich kid's son.
I think so. Yeah.
And he was like had like a little bit of a stretched looking
yeah,
face here.
Yeah, he had the supreme. He was joking as a supreme gentleman. That
Yeah.
was, and it's
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's like fuck, like no.
Yeah.
you
He was
people don't have to die for that frustrated cause. Like Jesus.
They're extremists, and yeah, that's obviously. Not
But
the
yeah,
way
I
to
think
go.
what I was saying is that's why I think a lot of people look at feminists and think of the extreme feminists, and that's why they hate them. And a lot of people think about men's right people as the extreme ones, and that's why they hate them. And really, I think there is, like you said, this Venn diagram, and the middle ground is where it's most reasonable, and probably where this movie is approaching from, and where I think most people would find that they agree with both sides of those. Like, I don't think that woman, even though she says like I'm not a I don't even know what that means. Like, isn't being a feminist just supposed to mean like you believe in like women's rights to equal things? Like, does she not believe that anymore, or does she not just believe in the extreme ideology of like women over men?
I think it was
or-
just like in a lot of other things. It's like they make a lot of great points, of course, and yeah, women don't have as much big time jobs, and there's a lot of valid facts there. It's just to denounce and instantly see like a men's right movement and be like, there's no factor there when there is a lot of trouble
Yeah,
there
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like
That's
these guys
fair.
are struggling to be able to have a family. They have no real strong say when it comes to these family court cases.
Yeah, that shit's all
it's,
fucked up.
It's bad. Like it's really bad. It's like you preach a lot about what's happening over here and what's wrong, but there's a lot that's wrong over here as well. And you can't just say we need all this help and denounce everything else.
You know what? That's because around like in the group chat I'm in with the boys, sometimes we'll drop MRA as a punchline, and maybe that's not fair. And maybe Dakota, you're right, and I should watch this.
I would check it out. It's definitely I love those kind of documentaries which really make you think about that stuff like totally different. Like what was the other one? Hot Girls Wanted, I think is like another one where you like
Yeah,
look at
you're all
something
about
and you're
that.
like whoa. And it'll just change your perspective and make you think a bit more. And I like that stuff.
That's
so
crazy.
let's get into what everyone is probably here
Black
to
Panther.
actually listen about. We got to see Black Panther, which was great. We had a bit of a hiatus for Movie Buff, and then we got back and got to jump into two awesome movies right away. If you missed it, we caught Whiplash just last week. Fantastic film recommended by Conrad, who was here in house to talk about it. And then just a couple days later, we had the opening weekend of Black Panther. We saw it all together last night.
as lads.
As lads. Unfortunately, we couldn't sit next to each other because it was so booked. I booked the tickets last week, and it was almost sold out.
On a
Yeah,
Sunday.
we were all spread out, just agents of watching the movie. I was with Kevin. Me and Kevin ripped on those trailers like it was our goddamn jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you guys
dude.
are doing some commentary?
He's sick, dude. His opinions are totally in line with the way I think about the world, and I'm
Of
like,
course.
let's fucking go.
Kevin's a god, dude. He feels like it. We were talking about the trailers, actually.
we-
we were going to have a bit about it
I
today.
totally forgot. We wanted to, and it's something we've been thinking about a lot because some people are like, you should check out trailers and, see what you think about them. And I know me and, it started with Dan, but now I'm like a big, well, I don't know if I want to watch trailers of movies I want to see. Maybe I want to take it all in. But then we go see these movies and we see all these trailers for the movies
You're
we're going to
forced.
see anyways.
Yeah.
So
Are you, by the way, do you normally watch trailers or no?
No, I always try to skip them. I was pissed.
Yeah,
I thought AMC had the strat where it's like movie starts at 8.
Get in,
but
starts today.
they,
Nah, dude.
it really starts at, like,
15 minutes of
8:30.
fucking trailers.
Okay.
The only way to block yourself is literally close your eyes and plug your ears, and even then, because that sound system is so loud.
Yeah, there's a
all
rumble
breaks
pack.
in.
Like you know when it's like
Your first Dolby experience, dude.
Oh yeah, the Dolby experience.
Has the rumble pack
right?
on.
Do you, or I shouldn't say right. Do you believe that is worth? Because those tickets are more expensive. I will say that was a 3-digit movie outing.
Oh fuck.
We spent over $100 to go to that movie.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think it's worth?
The rumble pack was not worth. Everything else I was like pretty down with.
Yeah.
But yeah, the N64 I was just not like this.
So could you tell a difference between the projection quality of a traditional movie and this one, and the sound quality between a traditional movie and this one?
The sound quality, there was actually one instance in the film, there was like a far off yell, and I was like, is that real? But it was the sound system, but it was only one time.
Yeah, that's
So-
the Dolby Atmos system,
Yeah.
which is their new version. They're no longer 5.1, 7.1, whatever. It's Atmos, which is the
60.9
Yeah.
in the theater.
9 subwoofers.
I think everyone has
in
their
your
own
skull.
subwoofer. It feels like
Yeah.
everyone has their own butt subwoofer in that theater. it
Yeah, there
feels
is like a bass hurt level that when it hits, your chair's like.
Yeah, no, you really were like, shit. But yeah, full disclosure, by the way, for this movie, for one, I hate superhero movies.
Yes.
Oh
I-
yeah,
I-
that's a good
yeah.
disclosure.
I
to
think
make.
the ceiling on them is so low for quality. They keep banking on the idea of a built-in audience. They're not doing anything new, and I hate the new zeitgeist of like lay nerd culture. I think it's stupid. I'm a negative.
20-sided
sad person.
die, by the way.
I hate that so much. And that's just me, right? And that's okay, right? I'm not like shitting on people for liking what they like, but I am like, God damn it, I don't want to see this movie.
Yeah,
I
So
don't
many
want to see another
trailers.
goddamn superhero movie. I swear to God.
all those trailers you must have been.
Oh yeah,
in.
every single one. I was like,
Let's since we don't, I kind of want to do something about the trailers. What we'll do is let's each pick one trailer, and it could be something good or bad about that trailer, or whatever that you remember from the trailers, and then pick that movie
a
out.
Marvel movie or all the trailers.
Any of all the trailers that were
Okay.
shown before Black Panther, pick one now, and we can just like briefly discuss it.
The trailer I was gonna mention is that Tom Cruise does not look good these days
Oh
with the
my
Botox.
God.
Oh, the
Gosh,
new Mission
yeah.
Impossible movie, which I think is on our schedule to see.
It is.
His face is like it's like his face in Eyes Wide Shut, but it's like the same face, and it's a little bit more bloated and Botoxy. And he's like,
You know what it looks like to me is like, you know those weird super hyper realistic masks that people wear, you know, and they're like slightly larger versions
big
of
beard
the head.
head or the big
That's what he
trumpet.
it's
looks
like the
like.
DK mode from GoldenEye.
Yeah, it's like it looks bigger somehow than it used to.
It's not
and
good.
The skin texture is very strange. Like it's been like, I don't know, yeah, like stretched and put together and plastered on and weird and like.
I told Kevin even Scientology couldn't save him.
Is that like a movie effect thing, or do you think he did something to himself, or do you think it's just
he's
aging
toxin,
weird?
bro? He's
Yeah.
toxin up. He's old.
He's gotta
Remember
be.
Top Gun? That was like 100 years ago.
That was the 17th century.
Some people are blessed though. I mean, you look like Keanu Reeves, and
Keanu
he
Reeves,
just drank
yeah.
the holy water
He's
when he was young,
beautiful.
so he'll just
Yeah.
look fine. But then
There's
Tom
a
is like, gotta
portrait-
work for it real hard.
Yeah, there's a portrait of Keanu Reeves in an attic somewhere, and that's getting older. But he's just big chilling. But
big
yeah,
chill,
yeah.
nice
Also,
reference.
I was pissed that I don't think they're going to be using the Bobby Shmurda. I'm jumping over cars while I shoot.
What?
They think that I'm Tom Cruise.
What are you talking about?
You guys never heard that song?
No.
No, is it
Okay,
like a
well,
meme
never
song
mind.
for Mission Impossible?
No, it's just like it's
Some
a
gag song?
it's a funny trap song. It's a real song, but that's one of the lines.
Okay.
And he's just like, they think that I'm Tom Cruise, and it's like there's Tom Cruise actually jumping over cars while he shoots.
Yes.
I hope Bobby Shmurda makes a cameo. That's all I'm saying.
That would be nice. Okay, now I get what you're saying.
Because bitch, he's Bobby with that tool.
I think the only thing cool about Mission Impossible right now is that Tom Cruise has, as he's aged in his career, is doing more and more stunts.
Yeah, it's like you want to see it because it's like, man, how far is this guy willing to push himself? And I know in one of the scenes they shown in the trailer, and I saw this on Reddit probably a while back. Is that
they're using this as marketing like crazy.
of course they are. Is that,
That he does
did
those
that?
stunts?
He did this one jump and happened to like break his ankle doing it. And then I think he went on
Shit.
some talk show to show it, and like it
Yeah.
was pretty like whoa. And then they kept it in the movie,
keeping it in
and
the
they showed in
movie.
the trailer. So it's like, come see Tom Cruise. crazy man.
Come watch him break his ankle, bro. It's on film, bro.
Man.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, he's doing it's when he's jumping between the buildings and he basically doesn't make it and his foot hits the building and just goes.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I remember that scene.
Yeah, and then oh yeah, sure.
You know when he does the jump, bro?
I don't want to see that movie though. I'll be honest.
We might have to trade it out.
Mission
It looks kinda
Impossible
cool.
3 was the last Mission Impossible I enjoyed.
What about Mission Impossible 2 with the Limp Bizkit soundtrack?
Yeah, I didn't like that
So
one.
what you want to do? You know, I grew up on that shit.
The first one.
I thought it was the
is
hottest
only
shit.
good one
Yeah,
for
dude,
sure,
that's why I
man.
only play Pangolier because I just keep rolling.
All right, you guys gotta stop right now. Pick another trailer so we can conclude this shit.
Okay, I don't know. I think that there's two that I'd like to talk about. It's either the Uncle Drew or I'm just gonna talk about Uncle Drew.
Oh my
I
totally
I can't-
forgot
you can't-
about this one.
I was
What was
so
it called? Was
That
it called
shit's
Uncle
wild.
Drew?
I think it's Uncle Drew. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so, yeah.
It's basically all these. Kyle Irving is stars in it, and then there's like Shaq and the Pacers guy, old Pacers player, Reggie Miller, and they're all playing old men who
like
are ballers, and they're gonna go to Rucker Park, okay? And I wear And1 socks.
It's true.
You're a baller.
This is my
100%,
life.
yes,
All
he
right.
does.
I grew up on the
Balls
And1
are
mixtapes
your life,
with
for
hot
sure.
sauce.
Those N1 mixtapes were fucking hot, though.
Dude, I had the VHSs.
Yeah, you would like. I had them too. I didn't have them, but my friends would like
pass them
you would
around.
pass them around, and you're like,
I got volume 3.
you're like, shit, that was crazy,
Dude, the Professor, Future, all those guys, Rucker Park, and all that scene was so big when we were growing up, and then just kind of went away. And now this is such a bizarre take on it, where it is like old men who are really good at basketball.
I mean, it's
going
all
back.
built from that Uncle Drew thing that Kyrie did, right? Like he did that once.
Yeah.
It was like a marketing thing once. Like he dressed up as an old man and then went and played some street ball. And they're like, "Who's this
did
old
he?
man?"
I didn't
It's
know that.
Kyrie Irving, NBA
I didn't know
player.
that.
Yeah, he did it a while
Oh.
back, and it's like, oh, so they're gonna make a movie based off this now,
Oh.
like Space Jam style. Like, let's get the old shits together and
So
play
you-
some ball against these young bucks, beat their ass.
It
with
reminds
some
me of like
comical humor along the
Nutty
way.
Professor meets like that Flubber.
I
you know?
definitely got Nutty Professor vibes. I also don't. I'm not uncomfortable with the idea of turning like memes into movies. Like
Right,
when the
that's
Dan
Hollywood
Daniel
now,
movie
right?
hits, I'm going to jump off of this building.
Is it actually coming?
It's gotta, right?
I can't.
If,
yeah,
if,
I
if-
imagine.
I mean, if Uncle Drew is like based on what you're saying, like some sort of
A meme.
public meme stunt.
I mean, there was a meme stunt in Black Panther that they made. I totally forgot about it until you brought it up right now.
Are you
What?
talking about
The shoes.
yeah, what are
I
those?
can't believe they. I hate to jump
I don't like
so far
that.
ahead, but they gave that nod to Logan Paul in the movie or whatever.
Wait,
Paul
what?
Kid.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
Okay, we'll come back to. Oh, I'm
No,
gonna,
just do it right
one
now.
Little segment. I
You're
am. Remember, they see Black Panther and he's as the. King.
I know the scene. He's
T'Challa,
wearing
and he has
the
sandals.
sandals,
right?
yeah.
He's like, and she's like, "What are those?"
Yeah.
That's
What-
from like the newscast where Logan Paul's going crazy on the streets and the news anchor's there, and then he goes up to
Wait,
the news anchor and looks at his shoes. And
that's-
goes, what are those?
That is really a nod to that.
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
it was.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's an entire like giant meme.
Holy
Yeah.
That's
shit!
the meme they put in the movie, and
Okay,
I'm
that
like,
ruins
I
my
get
end.
it, it's a meme thing,
It
but
was a
you
long
had to
time
pick
ago.
that one. Okay,
It was
boom.
anyway. Sorry.
Anyways,
That was
we'll get
Jake
back to
Paul.
that.
It was his
Uncle.
brother.
One of the Pauls.
Jake Paul.
But it's like you had to pick a Paul.
Yeah,
brother,
bro.
to do
Are
a
you
meme.
low gang or are you a Jake
okay,
Pauler?
Here's the thing.
I don't care.
The meme became bigger, but you're right. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Back
memes
to
and movies are scary.
Uncle Drew.
But it's crazy how small of a how small of a thing Hollywood needs to be like, yeah, we'll make that into a movie. Yeah, it's fine. No, it's fine. We'll figure it out.
They made a fucking
We'll figure
one
it out.
about the little emojis in our phones.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we are doing an episode
For sure.
about that movie because Grant is obsessed with it.
Grant.
He's seen it like
Dota
30
too.
times.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
You know he's only doing it for the meme.
No,
Yeah, I think so
he
too.
legitimately loves this. I can't wait I want to watch it first with him, and
I
I,
know.
guarantee
Oh
he'll
my God.
walk.
He
us
told
along
me
the
that I
way.
have to watch it 3 times before we do the episode to fully understand it.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like The Matrix 1.
Yeah, or I think he believes it's like Zoolander, where like Zoolander the first time I saw it, I was like, that is hot garbage. That is like one of the
Really?
worst movies. But then I watched it like 40 more times, and I was
and
like,
you're
this is the greatest movie of all time.
This
This
is
is
fantastic.
I can say every
so
line.
ahead of its time.
Yeah, exactly.
fair. That's
And I
fair.
think he believes that, although he's just maybe mentally insane. I'm not entirely certain.
One thing I do love about the Emoji Movie, there's like a screen cap of like a bunch of reviews,
You've
and it's
fucking
just
seen it?
No.
trailer.
It's like a screen cap of a bunch of reviews, and it's just
Oh.
like it's like God has forsaken us. Like it's like people like the end times are here. Like the reviews aren't reviews, but they're just like, we have sinned.
Yeah.
And punishment has happened, and here it is. And it's just so many people just lamenting existence.
Final trailer I'll bring up was the new Deadpool movie coming out, which is also on our list.
If he does, there's only one thing he hates more than superhero movies. It's Deadpool.
Now
I'm sorry.
I will say I have not seen the first Deadpool yet.
But you didn't?
I have not seen the first Deadpool yet.
Just jokes around. He's just a joker.
And I gotta say, I was not feeling the humor in this trailer by Ryan much at all. I almost felt lightly cringed by it.
It was cringy. It was not
almost
good.
You didn't feel cringe in the first one?
I didn't watch the first one, and I was like, man, there might have been awkward moments. I know he has those
don't
things
like the
where
baby hand?
He's breaking the fourth wall, and he's like talking to the camera and stuff, and some of it works. And I haven't watched Deadpool 1 enough to know if it's.
Did you read Deadpool? Did you read Deadpool, the comics?
No, I mean I know of the character, and I know that this is how he is as a
Yeah,
person.
that's
I'm
like-
not faulting the character, but it's like it's a hard character to be, obviously, because he's got to be incredibly witty and funny all the time in the drop of a hat during heavy action and shit like that.
Yeah. I feel like there's a certain aspect. Deadpool's probably like my third most read comic maybe, and it's like there is a certain aspect of him that is really, really silly and always does silly things like little hearts and all these funny little comic gags that are just way out of character with what the action that's happening. Like he's cutting somebody in half, and then he has his teddy bear, and he's like, rainbow fart out of his ass in the comic. And in the comic, that's really makes sense and is funny, and it's not always there. It feels like in this trailer that was like the only style of humor that they were going with. Like the little action figure scene where he's making it, like that's definitely Deadpool. That is definitely Deadpool, but it's like way too much of that one side of Deadpool, and it felt very cringy. I remember being in the theater and thinking, God damn, I hate that Anthony is watching this right now, because he's never going to want to see this movie.
Just seething next to Kevin, just like, I bet Dan fucking loves this right now. No, I didn't think that.
No.
But yeah, no, there's a problem. There's this old AVGN review that I always...
AVGN.
Angry Video Game
Yeah, I
Nerd.
know, you fucking dork.
So there's a Die Hard NES game, and in the game you can shoot the glass, and you have like a foot meter or something. There's a mechanic in which your foot bleeds because there's glass.
Yeah.
Because they're part in Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's what I said, right? Die Hard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was like, this is stupid because it's like you're making a giant entire thing out of one little part.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like is going on with Deadpool. It's like you can't just have the whole movie about Bruce Willis pulling glass out of his feet.
Yeah.
But that's what Deadpool is.
That's great. That's
and
a
it's
really great.
bullshit. And no, you know what's bullshit is I have to look at the fucking Facebook memes on my feed from people I went to high school with. It's like Deadpool, and then it's like a meme, and it's like, fucking, you really think that you fucking gamers don't really got it like that? Deadpool says they do.
Yeah.
And
It's broified for sure. I will say as somebody
Deadpool is the COD of superheroes.
That it's true. I hate it because I really liked Deadpool a lot growing up, and it felt like every time I would talk to him, even with him, a lot of people didn't even know who he was, and not to be like super hipster about it, but when another audience suddenly takes ownership of something that you felt very close to,
especially with comics,
it feels very tarnished. Like, but I do love some new things like nuclear atomic teenager, whatever. Kevin, do you remember? Have you seen the movie, Kevin? Kevin. Super whatever. Megasonic, super nuclear, whatever. There's a new character in the Deadpool movies.
Oh, okay.
Neither of you have fucking seen it, so I can't even talk about
I'm watching
this.
this like little like
whatever.
Oh,
She's really good and like a great way of bringing something original to the franchise.
Okay.
But yeah, everything else.
Well,
is
what's probably supposed to be that for this movie, and it's making me a bit nervous and hoping to balance out a lot of the Deadpool factors, that Cable is the other character in this movie, and he is my favorite one of my favorite comic characters for sure. This is a guy who has Justin Brolin. Did I say his name right?
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Sorry. Is playing him. He already plays another hard ass in the
another
Marvel
one
universe.
of your favorites.
Another of my favorites. Thanos. I love these evil guys. I'm nervous he's playing both of them. I'm very anxious to see both of them in action because I'm hoping that they're supposed to be hard asses and evil, and their stories are so immaculate that I hope it doesn't get cringed over by Deadpool or something like that, because he's got such a hard and good story that I think he could have had a movie himself, just with how he came to be, how Apocalypse came to be as a whole extremely dark story. I hope they don't meme him. I really hope they don't meme him. So it makes me nervous. Like, I know we're going to see it. I'm just going to be very like, okay.
Bro, they're going to meet. Every time Deadpool makes a quip, you get 50 experience points, and it goes along your bar, and then you can fucking buy more cool guns and get a cool badge for your fucking Xbox profile.
I'm nervous.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking...
A part of me agrees. I'm happy we have Anthony here to be the super extreme side, because I do have half of those feelings about the movie as well, and I do have other half that I'm pretty optimistic in that they'll be able to pull it in.
I still like it.
So we'll see.
I still like it.
Yeah.
It hurts me to see how far he's gone, but I've always thought that Ryan Reynolds was the only person that could really play Deadpool, and I'm happy that he is Deadpool, but it's I just hope it doesn't go full meme. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. Too silly. Too silly, too much.
I think
no glass in the foot. What a great...
Yeah.
What a great little analogy
stuck
there.
with me.
Let's finally get into the movie.
Black
I love how
Panther.
we were nervous that if we started talking about trailers as their own show, we made like 40 minutes here to get through, and then finally get into Black Panther.
Well, we also
stuff,
talked about
so.
our weekends. We
That's
talked
true,
about
that's
all
true.
kinds of other stuff.
All right, Black Panther is here. Huge movie. Huge movie. Like
how long did it run?
Huh?
How long did it run?
Runtime, the movie itself, I think it was like 2 hours.
Something like 2 hours.
Maybe 2:10. Maybe I'm not entirely certain.
How do we even preface this movie? Firstly, there's such a huge social outburst. There's a huge following. There's such a huge
Cultural impact
about this
Relevance.
movie that is held at such the highest of regards that I'll just say now that it's gonna feel weird to say anything bad about this movie. You know, a lot of people may feel weird to say anything bad about this movie because they might get backlash from others who love the movie obviously so much, but I would hope that we're going to be totally fair here with
It
what
is
we think about
tangled
the
in a
movie.
bunch of race politics because of the movie, the time it's coming out, the director, the cast, everything that's going on. So it does feel like if somebody were to build a super hard stance against the movie, that they would be pinned as like just hating it because it's a black superhero movie, which is weird.
Yeah, and it adds a complication to discussing it and understanding like the social impact, and it's like, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, because that's all important.
Because sometimes you want to say like, fuck, that guy's acting was so bad, like, you know?
Yeah, and
it was.
There was. Here, I'll say, I think this is how we can start this, because this is where I started really getting my gears turning. We walk out of the movie, and I'm thinking, I think I didn't like that movie as much as everybody has been telling me how good this movie is, okay? Because going into this, hype is real, okay?
It's really
Our
hyped
Discord's
up.
blowing up. You know, everybody who's seen it is like, this is better than the original Iron Man. This is better than Civil War. This is like my top Marvel movie now, or my top 3 instantly. And then I'm like, man, I liked it. I didn't like that much. And then I give it a 7, and there is resounding like whoas from our whole crew because everybody else except for you, I didn't even get your rating of it, was like hard 5.
Hard 5.
Hard 5.
Hard 5.
Kevin, Anthony, Andrew,
like a
all
hard 6.
feel like 5. And I was like, whoa, okay. I thought it was not that good, but I still thought that everybody else would like it more than me, and it seems like no, most of the people we were with liked it less than me, but still enjoyed it. Where were you on your out of 10 scale? Let's give it up front.
Oh, up front, I think I'm at like a 7.5.
You're 7.5. Okay, so you're the highest out of us.
That's
okay.
a good length.
It is. I feel pretty good about that girth. So Black Panther here. I know you're not a big superhero movie guy, but are you a comic guy at all? Do you know the story of Black Panther? Do you know who Black Panther is
the
coming
only
into this?
comic I ever read was a Sonic and Knuckles comic that I had.
Okay, you're done now.
What, like the Shadow comic or something?
It was actually Chaotix, it was called, and I just read it over and over and over. Anyway.
What, really?
Yeah, that's why I'm so fucked up.
Are you one of those Sonic people who like beats off to Tails and stuff?
No, but I think in a very close timeline, I could have been.
Wow.
That was this close.
That would have been cool.
I turned out decently normal, but
Yeah,
like,
right.
woo! Anyway, no, full disclosure, this is my second disclosure. I had no idea about the lore of Black Panther. I literally thought the superhero concept was a guy like in a leather jacket on the street just going like fucking shit up. That's what I thought it was. And I was like, that sounds
I
sick.
like that idea better. In
I
the
thought-
80s, like a Black Panther in like the 80s in New York City.
70s,
You know what you'll
80s,
want to see is Blade. That's
Well,
pretty
yeah,
much what
Blade's
Blade
amazing.
was.
I fucking love Blade.
Blade was pretty much the movie you probably were expecting to
Go see Meteor Man.
My Blade DVD got worn TF out when I was a young boy. I love that fucking
Blade
movie.
2 or Blade 3 Trinity, which also includes Ryan Reynolds, funny enough.
That's true. And ScarJo.
No, it's not ScarJo. It's the hot girl with from Seventh Heaven. Oh shit. Seventh Heaven great W. What is her name?
ABC Family.
Kevin, do you know what her name is? The
Jessica Biel.
It's Kevin in the Satellite.
Jessica Biel.
That's right,
Jessica
that's
Biel.
right.
Yeah. I like that one too. I'm a Blade fan.
She
also.
listened to music while she killed vampires. I was like, you can do that?
Wait, it's like it's like.
but yeah. So I thought it was like about a dude just like with a baseball bat, just like fucking, dropping criminals.
Might have been a better movie, to be honest.
I thought it'd be sick. But yeah, so it comes in and it's like this insane lore, and I'm like, oh, okay, like. I didn't expect this, but I'm here, right? I'm in the Rumble Pack.
What kind to do about it?
That's enough of you, all right?
I
No
stole
more
it,
of those.
sorry.
No more of those.
You get one.
There's a lot of lore, and I think that's always like a tricky thing for like the Marvel Cinematic Universes, because they know when they take on these different heroes and stories that they have to somehow incorporate the ridiculous lore that comes with the comics, and they come with multi-dimensions and time travels and all sorts of shit. So I am super surprised to see how well they were able to still make Black Panther follow kind of along the dotted lines of what the comic is.
I feel like they distilled the lore package into a very small intro buffer sequence that was gorgeous.
It wasn't small though.
I didn't think it was that intense.
Okay. Like the deep lore.
Yeah. Like the background, basically, hey, here's Wakanda.
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
how they're
yeah,
hiding.
yeah.
There's 5 tribes. We got this heart and a flower. You eat that shit, you become a panther. You kick ass.
Right.
He's
Definitely
the king.
unanswered questions with how Wakanda came to be. And they had to put it in there somewhere, because before this point, at least in the cinematic universe, Black Panther made his debut in Captain America Civil War before this, and he's just like, I'm here, I'm from Wakanda, I'm already the Black Panther, and his dad's there, and his dad dies, and that's it. We don't get to learn a whole lot about what's going on with them, except that he has a vibranium suit, which is, ooh, that's neat. Where'd that come from? So this movie's trying to fill the whole fucking, what the fuck has happened up to this point before that, and they do make it very brief. Wakanda is this place in Africa. A meteor lands. It's got vibranium in it, which apparently is like the most valuable metal, best metal that's ever been around ever.
Yes.
Sick.
It's like
and
Black
it's so
Sabbath.
good, it fuels people, it fuels the clothes, it
the
fuels the herbs, it fuels life, and all of their technology. They're able to harvest it, and then they use it to become their own world. And it's kind of an interesting, I always found that fascinating, even before the Black Panther movie. It's like, this is a world where, when most people think of Africa and this like third world country of nothing, now imagine a world where Africa is the most technological advanced place
but in
the
secret.
planet.
Yeah,
in secret. It's actually the most advanced by far. So that's kind of a neat concept,
Yeah.
So we get to see it.
Yeah, and it's also a heavy layered concept. It's like deep, like, like Africa is the solution to its own problems, but it's hiding it from itself, and like,
I mean, it is
Oh,
a kind of
shit.
it's a heavy pill to
Yeah.
swallow, because if you try and think it like, how the hell did they make this work? You seriously tell me they didn't do any trades to get all this shit?
Yeah.
They didn't do any at all. I was like, yeah, that's pretty of a tough pill to swallow. You just have to kind of accept the fact that somehow they made it work with them never going to the outside world.
My pills always kind of came down to the technical level of like, how the fuck does the suit like turn on? Like that doesn't. I don't like that.
Vibranium, bro.
Because
what?
it's like
you don't the magic dust, dude. Come on.
it's yeah, you can have magic. Like I bought everything except the suit.
What is that called? The that like, oh man, such a basic term. But there's like this like sphere in any type of fictional movie where they can stretch your like what you accept all the way, and then there's a point where they break it and it ruins the illusion. I can't remember what the hell it's
In
called.
science, it's called the elastic limit.
Nah, it's something. What? It's not
When
like
something
that.
breaks.
It's, oh god, I can't remember. But it's a big thing in writing. And I do feel like sometimes in this movie there are parts where you kind of groan and you're like, that's a bit much.
I didn't groan. I was like, this is still super sick. Like, it looks cool. But I was just like, the back of my mind, there's this guy just like pounding on the wall. Like, how does that work?
Practicality.
He's just like, come on, tell me.
But I mean,
right?
it's literally like the James Bondification of a superhero in many ways. When
Yeah, it is. You got Q.
Yeah, she's Shuri is like the cue for him, and she's just like, here's a bunch of crazy shit that is like doesn't make sense. Like these sneakers, they make no sound. How?
There's got to be a
They're
super cut.
geniuses, it's just like supposed to be embedded in the lore that they're just such technological advance because of the vibranium, and because of they're able to lock themselves in there. They just get smarter and smarter and make more and more and more. And even T'Challa himself is supposed to be like a big genius, like big time genius. I mean, part of the reason why we don't see him do any sort of funny humor really at all. And he can't even talk to girls properly.
Mr. Wise Man.
He's just supposed to be one of the smartest people on the planet.
Okay.
They're all supposed to be like obviously like godly smart and just better than everyone else. But to go more into Wakanda? Like, what about the imagery of it? Do you think
That's
considering that, like, does it represent it well?
Wakanda was sick.
You know, it looks really cool.
Here's the thing about this entire movie. I loved almost everything except for Black Panther himself.
What?
And I
what
feel
about,
like
the enemy guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
which enemy guy?
What's his name?
Oh, you didn't like
Killmonger?
Ulysses Klaw?
Killmonger?
Or Killmonger?
Killmonger.
Okay, well, Killmonger.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, you did. So, I mean, yes, I like Killmonger because I think visually he's fucking perfect. And he is, like, what I want as a badass anti-hero. Look at that man. Dude,
Yeah,
I
he's
want
10 out
to
of
rub
10.
my body all over those scars. That is crazy. He looks so thick in all the right places.
He's such a pretty boy. And I hard agree. Yes.
Dude, his style is sick. His hair is dope.
He had the acting power of, like, a bread loaf. And when it was time for him to come up with a line, he was just like, bah. And that was it. It was so bad.
I think that you're right, and a lot of the things were very cringy, and like I feel like Michael B. Jordan, who's the actor who played Eric Killmonger,
AKA Michael Jordan.
AKA Michael Jordan, the basketball player, the star. He actually was on the Bulls in
Dunked
86
from the free
to
throw
94. But he,
All true.
I feel like this was one of his weaker performances. I'm not gonna go all out and say that he was a loaf of bread, because I think that he actually delivered some of the more memorable lines. Number one. And when push came to shove, his emotional value to the character was really, really good. Like, when he needed to be. However, he was a limp dick noodle for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to remember he just wasn't there for almost a lot of it. The interesting thing about this movie is we had this like 2-layered bad guy
Antagonist,
effect,
yeah.
where we started with Ulysses Klaw, and he's like your typical superhero movie villain. You know, they go in the museum, he's robbing shit to sell it. They have a meetup to trade, and he just goes into a gunfire, a blazing kind of a thing. So you get that typical villain. We only get to see Killmonger, thank you, in that brief museum moment, and you're like super intrigued because he's like, what's that?
Yeah, he's got a little sexy scene.
And then he's like, oh, I know what that is actually. It's from, Wakanda. And you're like, oh, that guy's kind of intriguing. But then we don't see him again for like an hour.
Yeah.
He's gone.
By the way, can we talk about how bad the scene in the movie theater was pretty cringy, or not in the movie theater, in the museum, when he's like, you know all this stuff, but you don't look at what's in your own body. And then it's like, wait, what? And then she's like,
his lines were so.
There were a lot of really, really bad little
her.
writing bits. Yeah, it's like, wait, when did he get his hands on the coffee? How did he? Oh, wait, I just realized it. The barista was in his team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense more. But the line was still really lame. And that scene was kind of lame altogether and could have been way cooler. And it was supposed to be super smart guy heist stuff, and then like he's like shooting everybody and he's like making the scene look like they're amateurs, and the barista's in on it, and he's dressed like Kanye at the museum buying something, and like
there's some needs. Yeah, there is some. It's hard. I feel like there was so many up and downs throughout that whole scene before we got into the car chase action scene, which is like kind of cool. But yeah, leading up to that moment, it's like awkward coffee line. But he has cool, intriguing Wakanda insight. And then Ulysses is kind of crazy. But then he has that cool moment where he's like, you can leave. And then he kills him far away. And you're kind of like, you're just trying to be a hard ass. But then he says, no, we want to look like amateurs. Let's spread out the body. You're like, okay, he's kind of smart. So you're kind of always taking back and forth.
It is a give and take.
This is weird. And, okay, I see. And this is weird. And the barista's in on it.
But I do think like the first act of the movie, I did not enjoy. I didn't start enjoying the movie until like basically this scene when Michael B. Jordan kills Klaw, comes to Wakanda, and then you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting.
That's like halfway in.
Yeah. They have to inject again all that lore. They're injecting that, and they're having to kind of fix what they've already done. That's not like the comic. Now, if we were going by the comic, guys, he would not have been the Black Panther already in Civil War. It would have been his dad because he's alive. Now, it's not until his dad...
That's fucked up.
It wouldn't be until...
They messed up.
It's like the Lion King effect. It's supposed to be that when the dad dies, it'll pass on hereditary style to the son as long as he earns it. And in the comic, his dad passes away early. T'Challa's not ready for it. So instead, his uncle takes over as Black Panther. And T'Challa has to like go train, goes to the States or whatever, comes back, does the challenge that we get to see in this movie, and then earns it. Whereas here they're like, you lose your powers and you have to fight for it again. You know, whenever they come up and challenge, you gotta take it or whatever. I don't know if that happens in the comics.
Weird mechanic.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Whereas in it feels more like a hereditary thing. Like you've earned the bloodline, you now can fight to earn it, and now you earn it. And this one, they're like, someone comes up from one of the 5 tribes and they want to challenge.
About the tribes.
You gotta fight.
As a Marvel fan, I'm upset about that.
Well, Dakota is pretty pissed. Because every time we go into these, he like has to like dirty bomb binge the entire history of whatever we're watching, which is why he literally will not watch Star Wars for this show, because he feels like it's just too much to take in, because he can't do it.
That was a trailer we didn't get to talk about, was the new Han Solo movie. And I have to right away go, damn, like I'm not going to do that one.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to have to learn all of Star Wars, and there's so many movies, like I can't just watch some and not the others.
Have you not seen Star Wars?
I've seen a lot of I've seen like the originals, yes, a long time ago. But I haven't seen much of the new ones. And then I definitely haven't seen the new ones. And it's like, I'd have to go through all of that shit.
Yeah.
The canon is thrown out in the new Star Wars.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's the same.
It's not the same canon.
Which canon?
Far, guys. We have to come back. Don't go
The original canon is now called Legends, and it's not necessarily true. That's like the wording. It's like
that's fucking
original.
stupid.
Everything before the new Star Wars, like Force Awakens, is now called Legend. And it is not necessarily true.
Like Rogue One?
No, Rogue One is part of the new canon. Right?
All right, it's fine.
So,
everything's fine.
Okay, yeah, this is exactly why I don't think I'm going to be able to go on this kind of
up.
adventure. So that'll be a special episode later.
You had a couple other things that you were bothered by
there's
that were different in the comics than that. You were nerd sweating over in the theater.
Firstly, when the mom shows up, right away, I think comic people would have been like, "Why is the mom there?" In the comics, the mom dies giving birth to T'Challa.
That's big,
and so she's not in the picture at all. And here she's just in the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they wanted to kind of keep a parental figure still kind of in on the action now that the father's already passed and stuff. And
more hugely positive female leads, strong female leads, which is like half this movie is about strong female leads, as much as it is about Black Panther.
I've always like I've never read comics and stuff, but even with like adaptations or whatever, I've always understood the idea, or have accepted the idea that like it's not supposed to be close, right? Like it has to become its own thing when you convert something into a film. And so I'm always like, yeah, okay. Like if it's like obviously video game movies are pretty generally bad, but I'm always like, yeah, that's fine. It's there's not the Resident Evil girl didn't actually do all that, and that's okay.
That's all right.
But yeah, as someone who like does enjoy comics, how do you guys feel about that?
For me personally, for everything I saw that was like off, it's like, no, they had a way to kind of make it work, and I don't know, I kind of forgive them just because the comics and everything is just so elaborate and stuff. Like what I've learned starting to binge study since we were like getting into Thor Ragnarok, and I was like, okay, let me really look into Marvel and the whole universe. You begin to quickly realize that you have to forgive Hollywood at times. It's just like there's no way you can really encompass all that stuff. But they do find great ways to be able to make these things kind of work out. Sometimes it feels a bit abridged, like this first half of the movie, building up how it became to be, how his father died,
that was my gripe,
quickly getting through and getting into like, okay, now there was this big deceit early on, and why Forrest Whitaker's in the movie and stuff like that.
Yeah, really quickly before we jump into that stuff, I wanted to talk about the comic thing, because it actually pisses me off when comic fans get upset about movie adaptations, because it doesn't make any sense for them to. Because every time a comic gets picked up by a new like head writer and artist, they completely throw out everything from before and they do their own version. Like that is what comic culture is about. That's why it's so complicated, is because every single person who takes on the character for a new series spins it into their own timeline and universe.
And that's the appeal of it.
And that's like the fun.
Yeah.
But suddenly like Hollywood does it and they're like, you're ruining the comics. It's like, what version of the comics?
Yeah, these are the people living in like the
one you like the most.
They're like living in the 1990 comics and before, and they've been accepted like there's newer stuff that's come out with new illustrators that created new storylines for Thanos. Like the whole Guardians of the Galaxy was created like post 2000 whatever.
Look at Spider-Man.
Like, there's like no, this is not there when it was Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and the Avengers. Okay,
just throw a vase at the wall and just fucking go watch it anyway.
There's like 15 versions of Spider-Man and like 15 versions of like Gwen Stacy, and like everything is different about comics, and that's why it's fun. Is that all these parallel universes exist within each other, and it's this like web of ridiculousness and fun, kind of like basically theory crafting of like, well, what if Aunt May didn't die, or like what if like whatever happened differently would happen to this character, how would they exist?
Right.
So I think that's okay and cool, and I think it is really pretty fucking lame and try hard of nerds who get mad about movie adaptations of comic books.
Yeah, and I hope that like culture is dying. Like, there's been so many goddamn Marvel movies. Like, when do you stop getting mad? Like,
Seriously. Also, yeah.
how much
get the fuck
energy do
over
you
it.
have?
By the way, Venom, that trailer, that looked kind of interesting.
I mean, there's
Hope
a
they don't
shit ton
fuck
of
that one up.
shit ton of superhero movies coming out, from
More
horror
shit you
to
don't care about.
childish and stuff, and it's a market that's been heavily tapped into, and
Wait for
we'll be
Uncle
checking
Drew.
out a good amount of those.
Uncle Drew is my
movies
favorite
to
Marvel
come.
movie.
Uh,
Can I just talk about my gripe, and then everyone can just like, because
Go
this
in.
is my biggest thing with it, is that I have a low attention span, but not so low that I don't, I watched the movie, right? But I don't think in 2018 you can sit and explain the backstory of a movie for like 30 minutes, and like that's okay. And I know, like, how else are you going to do it? The lore is so wild and crazy, and you have to build this world. But, like, and I thought, like, a parallel was, like, the Star Trek movie, 2009. Like, they just kind of blew through everybody's backstory in this very efficient and beautiful and optimal way, and I really liked that. But it was also, like, well, I guess we all kind of, like, it's not as crazy as Wakanda. I knew I was going to do that. It's not as crazy as that, right? And so it's like what the? How do you fix that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Can you?
The 30 minutes of exposition that is like boring and unnecessary, and I feel like you can just jump into the action of the world because it's so interesting. Like, I don't care.
Playbill, right? Like,
There's definitely an audience out there that will love that stuff. Like, maybe there's the people who have loved Black Panther since he came out in the 70s, 80s, or whatever, and they're like, I finally want to see what the new Hollywood can do with this story. I want to see Wakanda with the tech and the CG. But it's like, is that the overwhelming amount of the audience? And yeah, could you have done
I'm
it a
talking
different
like
way?
on a narrative or technical level, there are ways to more efficiently build the world in a more engaging way rather than just sitting down with a storybook, like they're showing and not telling, or they're telling and not showing.
Yes,
right?
that's what I'm saying is
And
I think you're basically, you're not saying your audience is too stupid to just be able to jump in the world, but you're
kind of are.
scared of what will happen if you don't do this.
Yeah,
right?
it's the safer option.
It's very safe. And it's boring to me because I would rather we had just skipped that 30 minutes, jumped right into Wakanda, shown more of like street level Wakanda, which I thought was amazing.
I thought it was too, yeah.
Super cool looking. Like this idea of, I've been really lately interested in, because I feel like it hasn't been properly represented in pop culture, is like more, I don't want to say third world countries, but like third world countries in the future, like future India, future Africa, all these things that have been kind of neglected in mainstream media are suddenly like becoming like these cool new sci-fi future places, and that's really awesome. And I wanted to stay and hang out in Wakanda and learn more about that city,
day-to-day type
yeah
of stuff. Yeah.
And
yeah.
like I said, I would have been happy if this movie was not about Black Panther and was just instead about Wakanda and like his sister and his girlfriend and like the warrior in the mountain, whatever his name was, and like that shit was all cool.
Yeah.
Black Panther's fucking boring.
Yeah, there's a deep-rooted history there, and it's like there's enough that what if they could make another movie? Because I had unanswered questions. Like, I can't remember exactly if in the original comic lore there was the 5 tribes of Wakanda. In this movie, the 5th tribe was like this exiled group, or not exiled, but they're like, we don't want to be with everyone else.
Self-exiled.
We're gonna go to the mountains
Yeah.
and live there. Why the fuck did they do that? Why are they in the mountains? Why don't they come out? We don't know. They just went to the mountains. And they said, I don't want to be like you.
In the beginning, it was like one of the tribes rejected them.
Yeah.
Why?
And that's all, yeah.
Why? Did they kill they didn't go into history like it's because he murdered that guy and whatever. They just said, these guys don't like what you do and they're going to do their own
Yeah,
thing.
that's
And that's what you
all.
got to accept. That way later in the movie, we can go to him later and be like, oh, you're the outcast and we're going to work together. And that feels a little weird. The other thing that was kind of like, and what felt like this could have been 2 movies, or maybe they could have helped cut out that first 30 minutes a little bit, was we have this whole thing with Ulysses Klaw. And I understand the original story. That's how he was the one who kills T'Chaka, the king. The scientist does. And then T'Challa uses the scientist's weapon on the scientist, blows his hand off. That's why he becomes the Claw or whatever. In this movie, we see the Claw and Killmonger's working with him, and they have this little debacle about selling the vibranium. and then he ends up just killing Klaw and using that to get into
And his girlfriend.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just
girlfriend.
Why didn't he just kill Klaw from the start and use him to get into Wakanda from the get-go?
I think maybe he knew that he needed to bring his body to get the aid of the guy from Get Out.
Well, I think he was the guy from Get Out. Yeah, who, by the way, that was actually another really weak performance from a guy I expected a lot more of. I expected a lot more of him.
Really?
I love him in Get Out. I think he's amazing.
I thought he was
Can you
good
tell
in
me
the
who you're
movie.
talking about? Because I don't even know if I've seen Get
Oh
Out.
God, his name. You never seen Get Out?
Yeah, watched Get Out.
You're a fucking idiot.
Who's he
His
playing?
name is Wakabi in this. He is the warrior Rhino clan
Man.
guy, the blue
Oh,
guys.
yeah,
You know, he's the leader of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember from he was in a Black Mirror episode.
Daniel Kaluuya.
I thought he was good because
Wakabi.
he gives this smile, this wry little smile, and I'm like, you scamp! I love you so much. Because I just love Get Out, so maybe that's painting my.
I guess, and maybe that's why I think it was weak, because I really liked it and I wanted him to be better. But there was just a couple of things with his character that were just, I don't know, undersold to me. Number one, you totally forget that the general is his wife.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I felt like a lot of stuff was edited out of this movie, basically, because it feels like there should have been another scene where they see each other, but they actually don't see each other until the final conflict.
Right. Yeah.
They see each
And
other
then they're
only
like,
over
hey,
the thing.
Remember?
Yeah, it's like, yo, wait, you're my wife, though. And she's like, I am, but I love this country. And he's like, I love this country, but I really want to fight right now. He's like, are you going to fight or am I? And then he drops it. And he's like, thanks, waifu. And then, it's over, you know?
I gotta say that whole sequence was pretty damn interesting too. When I think what's Killmonger's first Jesus fucking Christ, you okay
Sorry,
over there?
my gamer chair just snapped over and pinned my
Christ
my
almighty.
finger. Fuck me, sorry.
When Killmonger wins the challenge, beats the fuck out of T'Challa, knocks him out, comes
so
over as
badass.
king, it becomes such a crazy surreal moment that, it's a trope that's happened in probably a bunch of other movies where the king gets challenged early on and then the bad guy takes over the throne to take over. And it's what if that actually happened? What if suddenly this guy comes in, takes over power, and you see everyone just what?
Yeah.
We're faithful to the crown, but what the fuck?
This
And
guy
now they're all
just-
looking at each other I don't
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
to do. Some of them are we're faithful to the crown, we know. And some of them are I don't want to do this shit at all. And it creates this really awkward moment that makes you feel awkward. And I think if I'm feeling awkward, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, no, you know what's funny? Because my mind felt like a ping pong ball, being asking questions wait, why did Rhino Tamer decide to join? Oh, because he wanted revenge on Klaw. Oh, okay. Well, why did they decide to accept that he was the new king? Oh, because he said he was the birthright. How did he prove it? Oh, he had the ring.
Yeah.
It was just these
100%.
They put me in this corridor, and I was like, yeah, this all makes sense.
Yeah, tennis. It's logic tennis, because they do smartly kind of plant all these things, but they're really small in the way they plant them earlier to make the logic make sense later.
Yeah.
Earlier,
They have to put that filler. Otherwise, again, Killmonger could have showed up. Hello,
Yeah.
I got a ring.
Yeah.
I got a claw.
yeah,
yeah.
Can I come in and challenge that king? Because I'm pissed. I have a vendetta that I'm ready to fill.
because it did seem very bizarre that this civil war would basically break out so quickly, and that suddenly an entire tribe would go against the king who they appeared to love, and even the guy's friend. But the first line that Wakabi has, is that he's like, hey, if you ever want my army to go out and invade another country, I'm so down for that. That's literally the first line he says in the movie. So then when a guy comes along and he's like, yo, let's make your armies go fight everybody, you realize, yeah, he really wants to do that, and his tribe is more warriors who want to do that. But the whole fight scene felt very bizarre, because you feel like this shouldn't have happened so fast.
Yeah, it felt pretty accelerated. Yeah, and yeah,
They're all fighting each other, and then
the conflict felt manufactured.
Uh-huh.
And it's okay.
I felt like, especially when he returns and he's like, everybody stop, and then the new king's like, no, everybody go, and then everybody does go. They don't listen to the old guy. It's why do they listen to the guy that got here an hour ago? That does seem a little strange.
I mean, it's just deep-rooted.
The rules,
thousands
bro.
of years of Wakanda rules.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
It's
over
tradition.
time, it's Wakanda is. That is one of the powerful things about this movie, is you recognize that over time people are you have those kind of people who are recognizing we're the most advanced part of this world. We could go out and take over the world. We could just own everyone because we're so far advanced. And there's other people who look at it like T'Challa now and are no, we might need to help the world with what we have, and we need to get it out there conveniently because Infinity War's coming, so you're gonna have to help the whole fucking world with your shit. So please do, you know. So it's just like there's that struggle there, and T'Challa's recognizing based on the history of Wakanda that they may have been doing things kind of wrong, and he learns that hard lesson from what his dad had done, where he you know, leaves the kid behind and makes that choice to stab and move on.
I mean, he looks cool.
He's just like, that's why like you're thinking, you're walking this like superhero movie. There's gonna be explosions, there's gonna be fighting, and then you're hearing an experience where this is a king who's like taking on all this burden of Wakanda, and he's like, where do I take Wakanda now? You know, it's like there's history of us staying here like this. Am I gonna be the one king to finally breach us out? And in comic, he is the one king to do it. That's where I'm like, oh, I'm glad we came back to that point, because it is T'Challa, the first king to kind of open up Wakanda to the whole world. You know,
I do like how the conflict in this movie is very localized. It's not like the world's gonna end if he doesn't punch somebody really hard.
That. Yeah.
You know, that was cool. It was about the internal conflict, the history, the problems of Wakanda, like them figuring out their own shit, not like figuring out how to punch somebody
the
hard.
outside is just Killmonger coming in. He's a guy who's born from the outside, knows there's a place called Wakanda that's got all this great shit. They got all that great shit in there. I'm suffering out here. People are suffering and dying out here from all these other fights that have happened with superheroes. You know, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe where they've seen Hulk jump around the city and all this shit, and monsters come to take over the world. And he's like, there's Wakanda over there, and they got all this sick weapons and shit, and they're not helping anyone.
Yeah.
They're sitting there.
And that's a
with
good
all
point.
It is.
That's why I like the
antagonist. You gotta remember that this guy's like, because you know he's growing up and he's. You gotta remember in the cinema universe, like I imagine all the shit's going down, and he's like, they have all this great shit. You're not helping. And then there's Wakanda people in there
I
going.
relate that.
There's Wakanda people in there going, we want to go out there and beat everyone up. There's, you know, there might be people who are like, we want to go out there and help. So now you have a leader who comes in and is like, we're doing it. So some of them are going to hop on. Some of them are going to be like, what the fuck's happening? And some of them are like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So when you're in that position, it's unique for a superhero movie to kind of do that and not just kill people and be showing off superpowers and all that shit.
I liked the build of the antagonist. Obviously, the acting is a big gripe with me, but like he felt super sympathetic. I'm like, you know what? If I right place, right time, I would, you know, take up my weapon and be like, yeah, no, this guy's got it right.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're in the theater and you're somehow siding with the bad guy in it,
sure,
there's depth to him for sure.
That's a good feeling.
You're not siding with Klaw ever, because this is your typical bad guy who just wants to do dumb shit.
You just want to see him do boner stuff.
But then you see Killmonger come in, you're kind of like, I can kind of side with this guy a bit. This is crazy. And yeah, I agree. Michael B. Jordan, I know he's a fantastic actor. They didn't use him enough in this movie. His shining moments were when he did get emotional over his dad and stuff. There was great moments, but yeah, it's like, I want to see more. I know he's done more. I've seen Creed, you know, but
when does
now
the director...
he's dead. It's like, do you think he should have been the Black Panther?
Dude, I was thinking that. I was thinking that.
Michael B. Jordan in another life, if they got him earlier or something, like Civil War time, whatever, like, would he have been a better Black Panther?
He would have been... more handsome.
Better looking.
Sorry.
Better looking.
But no, like, at what point does the director say, you know what, that was a bad take? We're going to do it again.
I know.
Reset, everyone, because that was bad. I'm so upset.
I feel like they're so do you know, okay, so the director, Daniel Kugler, oh God, did I get this wrong? I feel like I got this wrong. They have worked together, Ryan Coogler. Daniel is my name. Okay. So Ryan Coogler, the director, and Michael B. Jordan have worked together on like 3 movies. Okay. It was, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. Fruitvale Station, Creed, and now Black Panther. So these guys are like friends. And I wonder, honestly, if he is unable, and Ryan Coogler is a very young director. He's 31.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a
so
dynamic.
these are 2 young guys who are more peers than like a traditional director relationship where they're like an older white guy and they're fucking like talking to some young kid and trying to get him to do something. These are like basically they must be quite friendly at this point. Did that impact how this movie turned out, where he's not necessarily pushing him so hard and he thinks it's going to sell anyways because he believes in the power of the actor because he's his friend and they've done such good things in the past?
That's a good point.
Maybe.
That's a dynamic I think is good to acknowledge. Because, man.
Yeah, I mean, for all the things this movie does right, there are some things that it does very wrong. Like, the production design is gorgeous. The movie looks amazing. The costumes are fucking sick.
You guys
I
weren't
want to
about
wear
the
everything.
animals. Yeah.
Pardon me?
You guys weren't about the animals.
The animals?
The rhino.
No.
They didn't look real.
They look terrible. My other thing was that this is a $200 million movie. A lot of the CG was shit. and like so much so that you're like, ugh. Like if it breaks your like your concentration when you see something happen, it's really bad.
I had one of those moments at the challenging scene where some of it looks gorgeous when they're over the waterfall and they look kind of down at it.
But when they're looking up,
when you look it up and you see all the people that are up way up there, you're like copy paste all the way up. And like no one's gonna stand up there.
Look shit.
Yeah,
and then the action scenes are pretty bad.
How so?
Well, I just found them to be. I think that in particular, the fighter plane stuff with Freeman.
Yeah, that sucked.
Was really bad. Like looked just so bland, and like the action was so thuddy, and then the actual war sequence at the end was really just. It felt like a bootleg version of like an African Braveheart that was actually made in like African, the new Hollywood. What is it called? Like Nollywood, you know?
Oh,
Hollywood.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was this scene. So there was one six scene when they come, and then there was like one high impact like punch when he clobbers the guy. He clobbers him with his like mallet thing, and the guy does like a front flip. Like that was cool, but the whole thing felt very clunky, and I think that is a young director who has only, in terms of action, really done isolated things, which is why I think that the contest scenes were good because it was one-on-one, much like he'd done in Creed and in some ways Fruitvale Station, where the conflict is very isolated to two individuals. But I just don't think he was equipped to handle that. These big action sequences with tons of green screen and CGI and all these things you have to think about, I just don't think he planned for it as well as he could have because he wasn't experienced. I think next time he's going to do a way better job.
I think some of it was okay when Killmonger and T'Challa are fighting in the challenge and stuff. It's pretty intense. I did not care for the final fight too much at all. These are two dark characters. They're both Black Panthers. They're doing hand-to-hand combat the whole time because they don't use weapons. They have claws. So it's hard to see. It's hard to watch. The whole setup is very dark. This train scene is dark. I can't see much of what's happening. It's very CG.
The whole time.
Yeah, it's very CG feeling of a fight. It's just kind of bits of karate. I don't know if these guys even have fighting training or not, but it's kind of whatever. I also thought it was kind of interesting, this whole, in this scene, like, how the weakness is there or whatever. Like the Sonic, okay, so they have the Sonic thing that takes vibranium and breaks it down. You know what I'm talking about?
it just disables it.
It says that, they say in the movie, like, vibranium is very volatile, and that when they move it, they have to like slow it down or make sure it doesn't blow up and transfer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if that's true in comic lore or not, or if they just added it just specifically for this one fight that they said, okay, this mechanic will come. We're going to explain. You know, they do that. There's that one mechanic. Okay, remember that mechanic.
Chekhov's mechanic.
And later on, you'll remember that, oh yeah, that mechanic that just happens to disable vibranium for this brief moment so that this knife can go into your stomach at that 1 second ago. You're kind of like, how convenient that this mechanic happened to work out in your favor in this very dark karate fight, which that's how I looked at the final fight, and I'm kind of like, cool. Yeah.
Suits are too OP, dude. It was just like
that's a big gripe of mine. I was like, he's getting beat on by the other tribe by like their weapons, and it's just like he was taking bullets before. Like, why is he not just shrugging this off?
It didn't make any sense. The logic of the suit made no sense.
Yeah, it's supposed to absorb kinetic energy, but it didn't half the time.
But then and then it would just be like he just like, oh, here's an OP burst that takes away 30 people.
Yeah,
you know, but like
it
somehow
was
it's
Taken.
still
like he's
fighting
just
one-on-one with somebody.
He can't lose with the suit on. It feels like, and that, like in Taken, the only time he was in trouble was when the Uzi guy came out.
Yeah, that's why half the fight scene.
That was the
they
boss.
take away his power and they take away his uniform. Probably.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know, some of the action I will say was great. I thought the car chase stuff was pretty cool. You know, he's leaping and then gets in the tire and rips the tire off, and the claw guy is like outside the window and he's blasting the stuff with his claw. Like, you know, that's the typical like movie superhero stuff I expect to see. You know, even Doctor Strange had some very similar kind of action sequences like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I thought
that's
they were all
one
weak.
for every like.
And I thought
4.
Black Panther looked like he was so much of when he was fighting was like him CGI, like not the real one.
It was a lot of CGI.
And I didn't like that, you know? I just didn't like the way it felt very rubbery. Like he felt like a action figure, like a Stretch Armstrong, not like a real person fighting, and I don't know. But that's a weakness. One of the best parts of this movie for me is the supporting cast, and I just really, really want to talk about
how
how
acting performances a bit. And,
the rest of the cast was really why this movie was so good. In particular, my standout was Shuri, his sister, played by, I'm going to look it up really quick, sorry. Played by Letitia Wright. So, okay, yeah, first off, look how badass these two are. All right, so that's Lupita Nyong'o, I think, right? Yeah, Nakia, Lupita Nyong'o. Mm-hmm. And she's amazing in a lot of other great stuff. And Letitia Wright, who, first off, these costumes are so sick, and I wish they were in these the whole movie. And I really fucking hope that these two are in future Marvel movies because they look amazing, they feel really cool, and I just want to be them. I love the high neck stuff. I love the colors, the purples and reds, all these like royal stuff. Yeah. But she is from Black Mirror, the new season of Black Mirror. That's what I couldn't figure out the whole movie. I was like, why do I know you? Why do I know you? And she's in the last episode of Black Mirror called Black Museum. And she is really, really good in that, and she's really, really good in this. For me, she was a standout, and again, I think that the whole supporting cast, everybody from the Gorilla Mountain guy and his vegetarian line,
you know,
because
like every superhero movie's got to come with some sort of humor, you know. Yeah. And it's just a matter of when's it going to come, and is it going to be cringy?
So much of theirs was bad. So much of this movie's humor was
not
bad.
much of it at all, and what was kind of earned. But that dude, Mr. Mountain Man, I feel terrible not remembering his name at all.
I know his name. It's Winston Duke.
M'Baku, I think is his character name, rather.
Yeah, M'Baku is his character name.
And he had those quirks. We'll feed you to my children. We're vegetarian.
Yeah, just kidding. We're vegetarian. That was funny.
In the snowy mountains, we're vegetarians.
Yeah,
it's like he's funny. You know, he's got some humor to him.
He's also more sympathetic. Like he was sort of instantly sympathetic. Like when right when they got there, he was like, "Oh, it's that guy," and it's like he has a burden placed upon him, and he's like, "All right." And I liked him a lot. They built his character again very optimally and efficiently, and that's hard to do, apparently.
Yeah, because he comes in as like an adversary.
Yeah.
But we're like, we get why he's pissed. Yeah. And then he loses, and we kind of feel bad that he loses. So we see how hard he fights and stays in and wants to win. And then he does all these things like silently, basically, that are really kind to our main character and protagonist. That like he basically saves his life. Keeps him alive. And then instead of like where we think I thought it was a little strange that they bring him the flower, and he's willing to give it to him instead of taking it himself. I almost feel like the character would have, but then
I thought he was going to scoop.
Weird.
I thought he was going to scoop. I swear to God. I was like,
oh. It was a little. I feel like he should have, and I almost wanted to see him as. I was excited to see him as Black Panther. Like,
I was
huge, dude.
Like, at that point, it's like the heart-shaped herb is supposed to be like family lined, and probably just to the predecessor, whoever steps in, and I'm like, Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm like, yeah, it probably works, so let's give it to him and see what would happen. But they did not give it to him, unfortunately. Which I want to talk about the heart-shaped herb thing. One of the first thing Killmonger does when he like becomes Rule is he has to burn it all. Yeah. Right? But they do manage to save one and give it to T'Challa. I mean, does that mean...
That was such a convenient...
Does that mean
the
King's line's over?
Everything's different, bro.
T'Challa's the last king?
That's
I think
right.
so. But I think it... Honestly, it depends on whoever writes the next one. They could magically have more flower seeds and rebuild it, or they could make it not exist. I think the act doesn't even matter because of how like elastic the universe can be, and that they could just say whatever they want and make it happen.
Oh, there's vibranium still in the ground. So
it's like the death of Superman, right?
Next season,
like you can kill Superman, but he's still alive. You know,
that's fucking
kill
stupid.
Goku, but he's alive.
That's dumb.
It is dumb. There's no consequence.
Yeah, it's.
It's weak.
Why watch the movie?
It's weak sauce.
No, but I was also like, what does the flower actually do? Because like, if it's the suit that makes you gang,
dude, it's lean. You didn't notice? It was that purple stuff. Dude. It was purple drink.
So while the suit is vibranium and prevents bullets and has sharp claws and all that shit, the heart-shaped herb is what gives him the heightened strength, senses,
the power of the
and
Black Panther.
All of the intel from all. He's supposed to gain all the intelligence from all past Black Panthers.
Shit.
That's why he becomes super smart. Is that you're gaining all the insight from thousands of years of Black Panthers all into one. You're connecting with that bloodline.
Okay.
And you get the strength and the agility and all that other shit.
For all the lore that they explained, I feel like that wasn't really covered.
They kind of just brushed over that a bit.
So. They're just like the power of Black Panther be with you. It's like
and with this serum, be gone with you. And it's I'm sure a villain later on is gonna find that serum and take it away from him or some shit. Like it's
literally weird. There's a way to power up and power down him. There's a make him small, make him large mushroom, but very strange. And I forget what I was gonna say.
No,
so
you know what I really did like was the when Killmonger goes into the afterlife to see his dad.
Oh,
and
it's in
like
Oakland.
he's in an apartment, and it's like Hotline Miami, and it's just
The
like
sky.
I was like, this looks so cool. Like, and it was oddly jarring and fitting at the same time, and I thought that was really cool. But then the scene wasn't great.
But it also
No.
really paints a good contrast between everything that Wakanda has going, and then they come to the Brooklyn.
Oakland.
It's like or Oakland rather, and they're like, remember what, that's the stark difference. That's why Killmonger's so angry. It's like we're out here struggling, shooting basketballs into fucking boxes. And
It's
shit
a
like
very
that.
strange scene because it says a lot, right? It means like, so the dad is in this beautiful, scenic Serengeti, and then the uncle is like still in his apartment in Oakland. And like,
it's like,
that's where his afterlife is.
yeah. And
Like-
that contrast is just like insane and beautiful, and it caught me so off guard, but it made sense at the same time. You're like, nice.
But I think it was strange that he was transporting back and forth between being like, I don't know if the logic made sense that he was becoming a little kid and himself all at once.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Was it actually happening? Or are we seeing the character's vulnerabilities kind of like manifested visually, but it's not actually what he's seeing? And like,
Felt very Lion King like when he just sees his dad.
So much
and his
is-
dad gives him like all the insights. Supposed to be like essentially what it is, I guess. Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah.
Oh, also speaking of supporting cast, the guy who played young Forrest Whitaker could not have been cast better.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, right?
He had the and everything.
Yeah,
and he was,
it worked well.
he was looking.
I guess you can't
the
help but ask,
same.
like, did they have to actually audition based on the eye?
Right, like, maybe
they had it in? I don't know. It's a
Did you like
funny
him in
note
this
to
movie?
look at, yeah.
You guys like Forrest Whitaker? I feel like he's like so
Beef.
just plain
he always
bug-eyed weird guy.
he always overacts. I feel, and
Yeah.
I've never been a fan.
Like Rogue One, he was so bad in. He was so shit.
You ever see The Shield with
Wait,
Michael Chiklis?
no.
It's on FX.
Oh,
Cop show.
yeah. He's the white guy with the bald head.
Yeah, I was gonna say Forrest Whitaker is not white,
No,
but no, Forrest Whitaker's in it, and he plays this like
Sorry.
deranged like police investigator, and he's like the antagonist. He's always just kind of like shuffling around, and it's a little too much.
Yeah.
And even on it's not cable TV. He's like, just like bring it back a couple notches, Forrest, and like I think you'd be really killing it. But he's always a little too much for me. So.
What is there was a big Forrest Whitaker movie, the standout one that he did, where he played like a crazy guy in an apartment.
Oh.
He always plays a
thought
fucking
was
crazy
like,
guy,
No,
'cause
I thought
Yeah,
it was one where
yeah.
he plays like a leader, like a king or something like that. I don't know at all. I feel terrible because it
Oh,
was like one of those serious
that
movies.
one? No,
Yeah.
that is the he plays a African warlord general.
Yeah.
Shit, and there's that British guy who plays
I feel
Professor
terrible 'cause I'm a
X.
movie buff, and I know this guy has like huge credentials of acting performances. But
Kevin,
I would
could
agree
you-
that
could
does,
you peek that movie?
Was
that's
he
not
in?
gonna
Was
be
he in
a-
Save
Last
the
King of
Last
Scotland?
Dance with Julia
what is it?
Stiles?
Last King of Scotland?
Yeah, Last King of Scotland. There you go.
That was
yeah,
close.
that was like a really big movie for him.
I didn't see it, but I'm sure he
Oh, it was
has.
great,
He
dude.
has big performances, and you're right. It's like, did they put him in there just so they can have the name Forrest Whitaker as this guy who's just being
Well-
there? Or?
The whole cast is pretty legendary.
Yeah.
They had one of the girl Killmonger's girlfriend that he snipes is from Get Out as well.
Who is she in Get Out?
She was the grandmother.
Oh, are you? Is that true?
Yeah, that's her.
Wow. Okay, I didn't.
I mean, I didn't look it up, but like that's pretty
Actually,
sure that's her.
I wonder if it is. I don't know. I feel like the other woman looked a little different. Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, so that was cool.
Let's change course.
She's
here.
pretty,
I got,
yeah.
an interesting thing we could talk about because it was hyped coming into the movie, and I'm curious about your thoughts on it. The music, Kendrick Lamar music, and
Oh yeah, you know what I thought was so stupid? Sorry, I feel like I'm being negative, but for real, when Killmonger was now the king of Wakanda, it would go in and instead of like this the score being all, you know, it was the same score, but there was like a trap beat over it.
Yeah.
And that was so stupid because it's like it's the dark trap magic. Like
that was his theme. That played through like the whole movie, very small, the Killmonger theme. And then when it came to that scene,
Yeah.
and you know what's funny? Somebody in our Discord said the same thing. They're like, when that happened, it was so disjointing because it was suddenly like Kendrick Lamar's beat is here.
And I don't like what that articulates because that articulates that trap music and any sort of culture is a bad thing, and that's not necessarily true.
I agree with that too. Because I don't like how Killmonger can be distilled to a gangster in a way.
Yeah.
Like basically a thug who was trained by the military to kill people, and like his background is like a hood kid from Oakland who like is totally like doesn't care about death as a young child because he sees it so much and he's around it, and then he just becomes kind of like a literally gold teeth like wearing guy who kind of is like, you know, what's up, auntie, and like all this shit. It's like a little I don't know, weak.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to see, like you say, you don't. It's like a representation that is like saying that like that's bad.
In a movie full of being careful about how things are represented, I feel like that was the most mishandled.
Yeah.
But it also could have been a lot worse.
But in some ways, there's also that message of like the wise, sage, calm, you know, black hero is the right one, and this like brutish, violent, angry way, while justifiably is not the right path. Yeah. Like and I think there's a lot of interesting messaging in this movie that is very contemporary and makes a lot of sense for like, you know, helping others and like who should we be mad at? And then even like his last line in the movie is like this whole idea bringing slavery in, and he's like, you know, bury me in the ocean because I want to be with my ancestors who jumped off the ship knowing they'd rather be dead than in chains. Yeah. By the way, pretty nice paraphrase, just so, you know, I feel like I kind of nailed that one.
Yeah, you nailed it. Because it was a super powerful line. Ooh. And you're just like, God damn.
And that's the thing. I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's Michael B. Jordan. There's a dialogue he needs to get him going. It's like, where was that before, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I hate that he has to, you know, tug at my heartstrings for him to really, like, bring out the passion and shit like that.
His hair was dope, though.
It was so sick.
Great. Cool look. Very cool looks. The aesthetics were wonderful in the movie. And it's going back to music a bit, like, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm expecting Kendrick, and I would hear scores with heavy African percussion sounds and stuff. And I'm
that's another guy.
I know, and that's the other guy. And I'm like, well, this music's all awesome. And I'm like, where's Kendrick come in? And it's like, when it did come in, it'd be a bit noticeable, and you're just kind of like, it's not banging as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like, remember the trailer, and it had that bum, bum, bum. I don't know, I can't do it justice, but the trailer, it had a great like Kendrick beat.
We didn't watch
at
the trailer
end
today,
of it,
by the way.
And we didn't watch the trailer at all, but but I thought like that was cool. I liked the music in the trailer, and I was expecting more of that, and I didn't, and it did feel a little displaced, but it's like, I guess they're trying to do the whole like Oakland's here and your tribal drum thing and make it mesh, but it felt a little off-putting.
You can't do that when you're doing like a wide pan of like Wakandan like underground, you know, with the trap beat. It just doesn't. It was a mismatch. It
felt strange, and I was so excited when they announced Kendrick and all that stuff, and then a little confused when I was like, wait, he's not doing the whole soundtrack. There's, you know, the other guy, I can't remember his name, but very talented composer. Because I was imagining Daft Punk and Tron, okay, when they were doing the OST for that, and it was like a perfect marriage. M83 and Oblivion, Tom Cruise movie, space movie. Amazing soundtrack. Totally like, wow, this is M83 and this is a space movie and this is exactly what I want from it. And then Kendrick and Black Panther, holy shit, that couldn't be more perfect. And then it's like,
yeah, it would have been more perfect if he was in a leather jacket fucking shit up.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That would have been.
Whereas like Thor Ragnarok and like those movies, like they bring out like I don't know, I can't remember the track, like AC/DC like plays or blaster.
They just
the
do
final
pop
fight,
shit, yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, that's pretty cool, but there wasn't one like banging Kendrick track during a fight or some shit or an epic moment.
There was I believe Vince Staples was on the mic during the Korea scene.
Is that what it was?
I think it was a Vince Staples song.
When they were driving in the drive?
Yeah.
I like the Korea stuff. I felt, though, again, drawing from James Bond, I felt so much like the exact scene from one of the last Bond movies when he's in China and they're fighting the bearded dragons in the casino.
Yeah, that's Skyfall, I think.
Skyfall? Maybe it's Skyfall, yeah.
I think it's Skyfall.
You mean when like he blows the hole in the wall to retrieve and all that stuff?
No, when they're in the casino in Korea.
No, I'm talking okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You're right.
In China, it's in China and Skyfall.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Trade deal to get the vibranium out. Yeah.
I mean, a casino is a casino.
Yeah, it's true. That's just where you go.
That's it.
All right, well, we can inch on forward here. I want to poke a bit about the end credit scenes, I guess, a little bit. There's two of them, like most Marvel
back.
movies.
I just want a Shuri movie. Sorry, she's the best character. I don't know if anybody wants to fight me about that.
Firstly, the first end credit thing I don't think really added too much substance, so it was kind of weak for an end credit scene where it's just essentially T'Challa in the meeting of the UN or whatever and saying, like, we have stuff to offer, and the guy's like, what the hell could you have to offer?
I also thought
let me tell you.
I thought Tony Stark would be in the audience like vibranium, huh? Like,
Yeah, right.
They didn't bring anybody for that scene.
No,
I think Tony Stark would have been good for it.
No cameos out there. I guess they already had Tony do the Spider-Man Homecoming cameo. So it's like, we can't use him again. What is he, some sort of like Jiminy Cricket of all the Marvel universe?
He kind of. Well, I think also Captain America would have been good too in that scene, but it was weak.
Was there another post-credit scene?
But then,
you guys walked out.
I walked out because I don't even like this concept where they make you sit and watch the credits for a fucking scene. Just show them all.
Okay, here I love that because I stay for every movie. I stay for the credits. Because
you're an industry guy. That's fair.
Yeah, I guess maybe,
You're
but
not
I think
you're
other
not
people should
Joe
do it.
Fuck-ass who just wants to see another scene that they could just put. I'm sorry.
You could leave, go home, and watch on YouTube probably.
I'm
if
yelling.
You really wanted to do
I'm
that.
sorry. Go on.
We were there in hype, and what the scene was is you wake up, camera opens up, it's 3 little face-painted African kids giggling about obviously someone sleeping there. They leave, and you see
Shuri.
Thank you, Dan. There, which is great, but she's not in Wakanda. She's outside in some little hut, and she's asking, well, don't bother that man. The man comes out, and it's Bucky, the Winter Soldier.
The Winter
right?
Soldier.
Oh,
And so
shit.
first you're like, oh shit, it's Bucky. And if you're remembering from the old movie Civil War at the end, he decides he wants to put himself back in the ice because he's like, there's something messed up with my brain. If I'm able to go into a psychopathic assassin mode by hearing some trigger words, I don't want to be around.
He knows he
until
can't
this is
control
fixed.
himself. Yeah.
So if he's not in the ice, that has to say that they fixed him.
They fixed him.
They found a way to fix him with vibranium. Of course,
Vibranium.
vibranium.
They just
Which heals everything.
put
And
it
then-
in his brain.
Hey, here's an idea.
What about when what's his face got shot and they're like, just put some vibranium in his back?
just like fucking shove it in there.
Yeah, they take
That'll
the beat
fix
off
him.
his bracelet. He's like, oh, my bracelet's got this. I guess I can lose this one.
Oh, you got diarrhea? Have some vibranium.
Just put it in there.
Vibranium heals everything apparently.
When he woke up from like being injured and they didn't actually pan down and they was like he got shot in the spine and I'm like, okay, that means he's probably paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's gonna look down at his like fucking robot legs.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
No,
I
he's
was
just like oh,
but
like,
they
"Oh,
kept
fine."
the shot above his waist for so long. I was like, this is the reveal. I'm so smart. And then it's like, no, he's normal.
They're like just trying to show off like the background tech that's around him, I guess, instead. It was a bit weird in that moment. I'm kind of like, so that's it? They shoved a ball of vibranium in his back and he's good. Oh, okay, he's good after one day.
He was sussed out on it too. He's like, the bullets don't heal that fast. And
Yeah.
they're like, bro,
By the way, Michael Freeman, is that his name? The actor?
Andy Serkis.
Martin Freeman. It's Andy Serkis.
Let me finish this end credit before we go back because I know we didn't get to talk about him yet.
Fine.
But the end credit scene was, again, Bucky's out. So Bucky, he must be cured. He doesn't have an arm. They're going to give him some sort of vibranium arm for sure. That's coming. But the cool thing here is that the kids are saying White Wolf,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, what's that all about? Now, they're obviously hinting that Bucky's probably going to become the White Wolf.
Who's that?
Who's that? Well, if you knew Black Panther lore, apparently there is a White Wolf in Black Panther lore. In the comic book stories, T'Chaka, who is T'Challa's father, the king, actually not only has T'Challa and some other kids, he adopted in a white boy who had crashed from a flight. You know, they were flying over Wakanda. His plane crashes. He's there. He adopts him in, becomes Hunter, trains up, and because he's not family bloodline, he can't become a Black Panther. So he's kind of like resentful for that, trains a lot more, and instead they give him like lead of the Wakandan police force or something
Right,
like that.
he uses guns.
He uses guns and
White
he
Wolf
fights
uses
around.
guns.
So he's like the one white Black Panther, so they call him White Tiger. And
Whoa.
so what they do is they're like, well, we'll just make Bucky that guy and we'll keep him. Now we're going to put him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's pretty cool. He's not Bucky in the comics, but they're going to bring that character back. Makes me curious what that means for Captain America. Is Captain America going to stay Captain America? In the comics, Captain America gets shot and he dies after the Civil War. So is he still alive? Is he doing his thing? We have a White Wolf now. That's cool.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists of the Marvel Cinematic Universe have been thinking for years that Bucky was going to take over Captain America. Captain America was going to die, and Bucky would become the new Captain America. And that's thrown out the window at this end sequence. So I think that's an interesting curveball by them.
Yeah.
God
Outside
damn.
of that, it just kind of leads to the idea that, okay, Wakanda's coming out. They're going to give vibranium to everyone, which is necessary because we have the Infinity Wars coming. And if Earth has a chance to face off against Thanos, who's this guy who can rule universes, which in my mind, I'm like, I still don't even think they should be able to take down Thanos even with vibranium. This, according to like comic lore, this dude destroys the universe in the snap of his fingers. So I'm anxious to see how the hell that's going to work out, but they're leading to the idea that they're gonna have help now. So T'Challa's gonna be in the future Avengers movies, and we're getting excited about that. But let's roll back again to some final week moments, I guess. Or did you say it was a weak performance? Or what did you think of? What did you say? Eastman, the American espionage character?
Oh, yeah. Martin Freeman with an American accent. That's the only thing that's funny. No, he's British.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Oh, you didn't really?
Yeah, he was good.
It must have been good enough.
He was good at it, yeah.
Oh, seriously? First off, I love the mom's white hair. It's so sick. But no, it's interesting to be the only white guy in this movie, basically, that's not evil.
Yeah, a lot of times he was the comic relief and like the
Ulysses Klaw?
the blundering,
not evil.
sort of
not
like,
evil.
wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna die when the shield integrity was dropping. I was like, they're really gonna.
It would have been like poetic in a way that he did, but I thought he was going to too. But then it was like really stupid. Also, just really dumb. That guy's literally just sitting there shooting for like 5 minutes of the scene, just like pew 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 into the building. And I was like, so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, run your ship into it.
Such false tension. I don't know. It just felt like very contrived, that whole thing.
Yeah.
What?
I liked him. I thought he was cool. He was funny.
like
he
the
was just
little,
the perfect amount of like funny and blundering.
I enjoy him, and that is what a character he always kind of plays is like. Even this, when he's like kind of a badass CIA agent, he's kind of still like a relatable guy, and like you like kind of feel like he's a dodo in some ways.
Yeah.
Kevin, I sent you the one image that I think is really funny. That's been passed around. I didn't make this. This is being passed around the internet right now because this was reuniting these two cast members. That is Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman in The Hobbit, and now in Black Panther. So there's Gollum and Bilbo and Klaw and American Air Force CIA agent.
Andy Serkis.
Fucking Andy
Look at
Serkis,
him,
yeah.
dude. He thinks he's so fucking sick.
This
dude.
man has a big problem with Andy Serkis. Who doesn't like Andy Serkis, by the way? He's a great actor. And he's like he made motion capture artists into a thing.
Oh, did
he's
he?
also a good director. You know, he was like the B crew director on all the Hobbit movies. Which I mean are shat on constantly, but
I think method acting is dumb. And Andy Serkis is a man who took method acting to the most extreme dumb level. I don't care if he accurately represented an animal correctly. I think it's
you don't like
dumb.
Planet of the Apes either? That's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. He's pretty good in that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's all right. He's all right.
And he's good. He's the king in... Do you remember... Kevin, do you know what I'm talking about? There's a game that's like a God of War ripoff, except it's a hot girl with red hair, and Andy Serkis plays the king in it. And it was like a really big deal because it was the new hardware on PlayStation, and they use all the same motion capture, facial recognition stuff, and he plays as king. But I think it's interesting because I don't think it's my thing about Andy Serkis is I'm gonna make a sound with the mic. Sorry, I got cookie on it. Girl Scout cookies, they're out now, by the way. Get them. We have them all over the desk. It feels like everybody, if they're going to make a motion capture movie and they want somebody to really sell it, they just hire Andy Serkis. But it doesn't feel like he's like the only person that can do that job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like anybody can really do that if they're okay with wearing a bunch of white dots on their face all day.
He's just the guy now.
He just is the guy.
Yeah.
Like, but why? Is he not? I don't think he...
He's got the resume, bro.
He's just done it more, I guess, you know?
It's like, I think in Hollywood, it's like we want the best.
Yeah.
You know, and he's considered the best.
And he was the OG because Gollum was really the first time we saw a full character transformation from a person who was, you know, not filmed on set, totally green screen, completely replaced with a CG character, but brought life to that character. But at the same time, you're discounting that they aren't just taking that and being like, all right, we're done. There are teams of animators that then come in and have to do so much cleanup work and so much extra stuff to really make that character come alive. And you're just like, no, that doesn't matter. It was Andy Serkis.
It's like human nature, I think, is to latch on to the name and the icon and the person and be like, oh, yeah, that's the guy.
He's the reason, yeah.
Green screen acting's tough, too. I was going to mention that as like a footnote when we were talking about acting performances, but I think you got to give the actors those a couple extra bonus points. Like when you're put into an environment that is actually not there, they're just like, you're in Wakanda, and you're looking around and they're like, I see a lot of green, you know, chroma green everywhere, and they're like, well, imagine that there's spaceships and waters and waterfalls and it's like all this stuff, and they have to put that stuff in, or maybe some of them are just even working with a completely CG second character. So now you don't have that
Yeah, it's
emotional throwback coming your way. You're just putting it all out only, and then doing it again.
You're, like Jar Jar's telling you like that he has cancer and he's going to die.
Yeah.
And
Well, the
like,
Black Panther's in front of you, and he's about to hit you.
Jar
So
Jar, for real?
are you okay?
And
it's a challenge.
it's also it's the onus is on the director as well to make sure the actor feels that that connection. Like that's their job as well. So
let's wrap it up, boys. Final thoughts coming on to Black Panther here. What's the finger up for?
I got peanut butter in my mouth. Okay. Before our final thoughts, there's one thing I want to talk about, which is something that's we talk about a lot of this movie is like directors and how much money they're making for their films and how that metric of success. And it was really interesting when I looked at Ryan Coogler. First off, again, second week in a row, we have a super young director. Guy's 31 years old, born in 86, born in Oakland, which is probably why it brings a lot of that into this. But so he makes a series of shorts, Locks, Fig, and the Sculptor. First off, he goes to college and on a football scholarship, St. Mary's in California. And then his English teacher is like, yo, you're like really good. You should like start writing more. So he starts writing more, and that turns into screenwriting, and that turns into directing his own movies. And then he makes Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan, the story of the kid who gets killed on the BART in San Francisco. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a young black kid.
I don't know the actual story nor the movie.
Okay. So that movie gets made. That costs $900,000. Okay? It makes $17 million.
That's a come up.
That's great. Okay? That's his first movie. Holy shit, dude, you're pretty good. All right. We're going to give you another shot. Okay? He gets Creed, which is
not just another shot.
Not just another shot.
That's a big franchise name that was amazing and then kind of fell off a bit. Rocky 5, terrible. Then they did Rocky Balboa, which might have been.
I like that a lot.
I don't really remember it. It was It was probably good, but again, they're like, listen, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna try it again, and you're gonna do it from a totally new perspective.
Does anybody not like doing a Stallone impression?
Oh, it's so fun.
Okay, yeah. So he gets Creed, and then he catapults that, that franchise back into relevancy. Costs $40 million to make, makes $170 million. These are all international numbers, by the way. Okay. It was like 116 domestically and like 60 million international. But total 170 million. Okay. Holy shit, bro. You literally have not failed yet. And not only that, you're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. So then he makes Black Panther. And now his budget is more than any movie combined that he's made. $200 million. Guess what, guys? Opening weekend. Do you guys see the numbers that it did?
Huh.
$201 million. He's already made back the money for that franchise. First off, ridiculous. And I actually feel like he wasted money because it does not feel like a $200 million budget movie.
Feels like a lot of it was spent getting the actors, maybe.
I don't know. I would love to see the breakdown. But it doesn't feel like a $200 million. It feels much smaller.
It's not on some Jack and Jill shit, though.
No, not even close on Jack and Jill shit. I mean, honestly, that's where money should be spent in Hollywood. But it's just interesting to see this guy. So he basically, his first big project is kind of a passion project. He feels compelled to tell a story of this kid being killed. And then he does Creed, which is a very studio project. Like, it's a baby in a franchise. And then he is in MCU, the largest, series of movies right now, period. What is he going to do next? He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Lucasfilms, I guess, they're the only
right.
big
Where's
thing.
the ceiling?
Give him a Star Wars
Lucasfilms
now.
is in this. They did the sound design, and they did ILM did a bunch of the effects. So he's already been working with them.
I mean, yeah, at this point, he's been working with the best. So
Skywalker Ranch, where they sound mix this movie, is like super famous because it's like the place to mix your audio for the movies. And I found it actually to be one of the weaker points of the movie. I thought the sound design was fucking just bland. It felt very hollow in a lot of places, very empty. Didn't feel like it was impacted, felt disconnected. A lot of the dub and ADR stuff felt like voiceover. Like, it was so disconnected from the characters. I don't know if you guys felt like this, but like particularly Black Panther and a couple other characters, every time they spoke, I felt like it was so mixed and like recorded after the fact. Like, but in like, it sounded like a narrator, like so too polished. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I felt that too. A couple scenes I was actually like, well, there's always that like when there's a front back shot that like they don't line up the audio correctly, or they just use a different take, And I hate seeing that, but I was like, it was a little more apparent with the crispness.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. Oh, there was one scene that was really bad with that when they were doing and it was just a weird scene in general. They were doing the interrogation early, the scene that we showed with Klaw and the CIA agent, and they're walking away, and literally the Klaw isn't like saying anything, but he's saying stuff in the background, and as they're walking away, and there's another woman in the room, and she's making this face like.
I remember that.
She was like doing this and then like walked away.
If you,
Yeah.
It was
I don't remember
so
that, but
weird.
if you both remember it, it must have been distracting
Yeah, it
enough,
was
which
weird.
is pretty unfortunate.
It was like, why are you making
Why
this
is she
sly
doing that?
face
Yeah.
at everybody
It was,
right now?
It was really
It
strange.
was a long take, but the ADR also was so badly dubbed. It was whatever. Yeah, I just want to talk about Coogler because I think
it's
it's
a good
really
point.
cool
Yeah,
to see
I mean,
young
he's gotta be doing
directors
something
in
huge out of
Hollywood.
this.
Honestly,
I don't remember his name.
You should. I mean, anyone should be getting their sound design done at Ram Ranch. I think that's the better place.
Ram Ranch?
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe Slime Ranch?
objectively superior.
Winamp World. Yeah. Let's each give like just some final notes about the
Fruity
movie, and then we'll wrap things up. Dan, we'll start with you.
Final
things
thoughts?
about things you like, things you didn't like. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
think when I talk about superhero movies nowadays, they do not compare to other movies. I no longer like my 7 is a 7 out of 10 in the superhero movie universe because the genre is so its own thing, and it is not a movie anymore. It is a superhero movie, and those are very different. And this movie is particularly like that for me. It has much more meaning and value as a superhero movie than a movie. It is much more about, as well, for me, the supporting cast than the main character and the main storyline. I want to see stories of Wakanda more than I want to see stories of Black Panther. But happy this movie exists. I think it's fun. I do think people are overhyping it. Probably has a lot to do with the cultural significance of the movie and the importance of it in the kind of like pop lexicon right now, which is very difficult to kind of fuck with, and he did it, I think, very well. Danced around a lot of stuff and made a lot of good points and stood in the face of America and said a lot of things to people like, I wonder what older generation people think about this movie. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to talk to somebody in their like 60s about what they thought about Black Panther. But yeah, go see it. It's fun. It's just another superhero movie though, It just is. It just is.
World we live in. This is the world.
It isn't the fucking next greatest thing you've ever seen. It isn't something new, really, other than it is an all-black cast, which is really awesome and cool, and the production design is fucking amazing, but it's just another superhero movie.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who doesn't like that idea of another thing, this is it. Here you go, guys. I watched it and I was like, I didn't come away from it like, ugh. Like that was a bad movie, but I saw a lot of problems in it, and I feel like there's an optimization that can be achieved when doing certain things in such a sort of a genre rigorous type of film, and they didn't do that, and I would have liked to see it. I probably would have liked it more. Also, I will use this as a soapbox to say that Edward Norton was a better Hulk than Mark Ruffalo.
Whoa, I agree with that.
And I will die in the streets.
Edward Norton
that.
also cared about the characters more.
He's great.
He really actually
I like
gave a
him a
fuck
lot.
about Hulk.
But either way, I also think it's good. Like, all black casts they're actually in like a gigantic, big budget Hollywood movie, even if it is a superhero movie. Like, that's pretty big, and I like that. That's a step in the right direction. It feels like, and that's cool. And you can't deny that. So.
Yeah, you need the perspective and the representation in Hollywood, and the fact that as a black director, super young, directing all these from super high-end, old guard Hollywood black talent to new, fresh faces.
It's hype.
It's fucking cool. You need that.
So
I mean, it's hard. You guys pretty much echoed a lot of what I wanted to say. Dan
he
with
is the best Hulk, isn't he?
He is.
I don't know if there's been the best Hulk yet, and it's funny because when you're saying that, I was surprised when I watched Civil War to prep for this how much I like the new Spider-Man.
Oh, that
too.
kid's awesome.
I think he's great.
That kid's
I don't know
awesome.
if you've seen him, but everyone's used to Tobey Maguire or whatever.
Yeah, Nickelback in the fucking. No.
Used to doing it, and it's like, yeah, that was cool. He's a movie star, whatever. But this kid, I'm like, this is how Spider-Man's supposed to be.
This is Spider-Man.
You're kind of
Yeah.
like, this is how Spider-Man's
Yeah.
supposed to be. He's just like an innocent kid. He's like shooting the shit mid-fight. He's like so innocent.
He's so excited.
So excited, so innocent. I'm like, this is the Spider-Man they've been going for.
Did you see Homecoming?
And I did not. So now I'm like, now I got to go see Homecoming.
Yeah, we should watch it together. I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, I think it's very important for some people to be able to take on these kind of very significant kind of roles and do their best justice. I don't know if I'm sold this is the best Black Panther I'm ever going to see. I'm left now in a position where I wish there was more Killmonger to be had instead. I also wish there was more, hopefully there's more Wakanda, more of the Wakandan people there going to get involved in those movies because I like that whole atmosphere a lot. It's great. Music was good. I wish there was more of it, especially bangers if it was Kendrick without interweaving it so awkwardly at times. Fighting has subsided a bit, but it's a strong story and a lot to kind of build up on. So I don't know. I had a good time with you guys. It was a great movie. Rotten Tomatoes now had put this up pretty dang high.
Like 97%.
97%.
Why are you so fast, Kevin? What a freaking name. You just said you uttered the word Rotten Tomatoes and that thing was on the screen.
It shouldn't be 97.
It shouldn't be that high.
I think
the audience score is much more reflective.
on the money.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's what we were talking about. That I think some people are afraid to be saying negative things about this movie.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And I think unfair as well. Because
I think so too. Because even as a director and actor, anyone who worked on the movie, they don't want to be told like a gassed up number.
Yeah,
they want to be told the truth because that's what you make something for us to hear if it's good or not. And so
to compare this with Thor Ragnarok, which was another very recent super powerful superhero movie.
Let's go, Kevin.
92% for Thor Ragnarok comparing to 97, whereas the audience put 88% for Thor Ragnarok and only did 77% for Black Panther.
Audience scores are much more accurate.
I agree with that. I enjoyed my time. I boasted about the movie a lot more with Thor Ragnarok than I did Black Panther, if it's just coming down to it. I did also think there was problems with Thor Ragnarok, and at times almost it felt a bit too silly and stuff. Hulk was in that movie. And it was they also did an interesting new take kind of with Hulk, so maybe you might want to check it out because it is still Mark Ruffalo, but the director's new, and he kind of obviously gave Mark Ruffalo some new ideas, or Mark Ruffalo said, I have new ideas, and they kind of did some new stuff with Hulk. So if you were used to Mark Ruffalo doing Hulk a certain way, you could check out Thor Ragnarok on the side and see a slightly different Hulk.
I did
Very
like
funny
the first
Hulk.
Thor.
More funny. The movie was just funny overall. It was like, I almost thought it was too funny at times in that they're not serious enough or whatever. So,
like Transformers 3.
Yeah.
Transformers 1 is still one of the all-time greats.
It's sick.
Megan Fox, my lord.
The jokes are good. Megan Fox is good. Shia's good.
Dude.
It's a banger.
It's absolutely
an
American
2008
classic.
banger.
I was actually sorry.
Anyway,
let's just talk about Transformers.
So, I think that's fair. I mean, I wouldn't put it as my best superhero movie all time.
Go see it.
It'd be up there.
Go see it.
Definitely need to see it.
You just see it.
Just see it. It's like it's not worth not seeing.
Yeah. It'd be stupid not to. Also, just seeing the side characters, you're just like, I'm telling you, that's just
powerful.
They're the whole fucking movie.
Very good.
They're so good.
So, our next movie buffed will be on February 28th. We have a Oscar special.
Valentine's Day. Nice.
Oh, shit. wait. When is that? Is that like 2 weeks? 28th? Is that 2 weeks from now or a week from now?
Today is the 19th.
Oh my gosh, yep. And we have a special guest on that. Hopefully he can still make it.
Hopefully.
But
we'll have to see. We'll keep posted about that, but we're supposed to be doing an Oscar special. And then after that, it looks like it will be Annihilation. Is the next movie we go check out in the theaters.
No, sorry.
No, not Mortal Kombat.
I thought you guys were doubling up.
Are you going back?
Our next podcast, though, will be next week on Monday. The BTS Podcast Network will be live with a new show priority as Ken and myself are going to be talking about ESL Katowice or Katowice or whatever. That is starting like tomorrow. I think their media day is happening today. That will be running throughout the whole week and the weekend, so that when we come Monday, we'll talk about all the fun memes and content and gags that happened during that event in show priority. Should be a good time.
Catch that on Facebook.
We'll be on Facebook. It's going to be a wonderful time trying to collect all the clips and VODs as they didn't seem to do them. Hopefully they've improved that a bit. It'll be exciting to watch. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to yet another awesome episode of Movie Baft. Oh, final little things. If you want to be able to connect with us at Beyond the Summit, with us here at Movie Buffed, get inside the Beyond the Summit Discord, okay? There's a link on the stream page right now. If you scroll down, it is there. Well, maybe we'll try to get in the chat or something. If not, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. We're all in there hanging out, the full BTS staff, a lot of familiar faces. If you want to talk about some of these movies, as we're about to talk about on the show, if you want to give an insight or opinion on what movies you'd like to see, what movies you love, we're just chit-chatting about awesome dang shit in there. So just come into the Discord and hang out.
Yeah.
any game you love or any movie you love. Also, if you want to support our new products and our show, you can check out all the sweet merch here at the front of our table. Go check out the Design by Human shop for Beyond the Summit, where you'll see a lot of our event merch. I don't know if the CS Summit
That CS
stuff
Summit shirt is an amazing gym shirt.
It's a good quality, right?
Yeah.
You work
Sweat
out.
right through
I
that.
forgot. God damn.
I don't know if that one in particular
Always
is still
hidden.
in the store because it's like limited special, like the Smash stuff is.
I think
but
that the CS stuff is still going for like another week.
you might be able to still get it. But there's a Hot Cock shirt. There's Beyond the Summit gear, movie buff poster. This helps you guys show your support for these products and these new avenues and adventures that we're going on with Beyond the Summit. And there's a lot more potential podcast shows and products coming in the near future that we're really excited about. And if you want to get in on the action, check out the Discord. Okay, guys? Continue to like and subscribe all of our stuff. Check out the Beyond the Summit podcast, Twitter, BTS
Thanks, Slime, for
Pods.
coming.
And thank you, Slime, for coming by and hanging out on short notice and
Course.
chatting with us. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time for more Movie Buffed and podcast action.
Thank you.
Bye.